of 2 unidentified persons, the cremated remains of 75 indigents, and 24 fetal remains. A major investigation ramping up by the FBI. They're probing the death of an Illinois prison inmate. The Department of Corrections says the incident occurred back on May 17th at Western Illinois Correctional Center in Mount Sterling. The statement says several staff members have now been placed on administrative leave and that any activity that compromises the safety of staff and offenders will not be tolerated. 4 Illinois stores are among 15 closed nationwide by the Fresh Market Company. No closing dates have been announced, but the grocer says the closure includes Lincolnshire and Glen Ellen stores, along with Peoria and Normal. A stomach virus is sweeping the state. Doctors say it's extremely contagious. It's sweeping across southern Illinois and headed to Chicago, according to doctors who say the virus runs its course within 48 hours. To help prevent spread, you should wash your hands frequently. Symptoms include sudden onsets of nausea and diarrhea. Pablo Sandoval singles in the winning run in the bottom of the 11th. Give the Giants a 2-1 win over the Cubs. White Sox and Cardinals begin a 2-game series. At the rate tonight, Dylan Covey on the hill. Baby Bulls square off with the Hawks in Las Vegas in Summer League action tonight. The news is a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there's a girl in India who has dreams bigger than her village. Right now, there's an elder in Guatemala who dreams of a life of greater dignity and less loneliness. You can help change the future of one person in a single moment. Begin the change at Unbound.org. 5:07. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
President Trump has announced his pick for the Supreme Court.
It is my honor and privilege to announce that I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court.
Now the spotlight shines on Brett Kavanaugh.
I will always strive to preserve the Constitution of the United States and the American rule of law.
Find out what happens next, right here on your station for Supreme Court confirmation answers. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Tired of working dead-end jobs, getting laid off time and time again? Consider the growing healthcare field. Change your future now. TTI Medical Training can help you. TTI Medical Training offers in-demand healthcare training programs so you can enter the growing healthcare field. They offer courses to become a certified nursing assistant, medical assistant, patient care technician, dialysis technician, and other rewarding healthcare careers. All TTI Medical Training programs lead to certification, and that's the key to getting a job in the healthcare field. Healthcare employers desperately need certified healthcare techs. TTI offers short-term programs that you can complete in less than 9 months. You can start your healthcare career right after graduation. They have 2 locations in Chicagoland and flexible class schedules to fit any schedule. Call now, 773-774-2222, and begin healthcare training today. Or learn more online at ttimedicalschool.com. That's 773-774-2222 or online at ttimedicalschool.com.
5:09 on AM 560. It is time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Perma-Seal, 800-421-SEAL. Time to call on Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Seeing some heavy roadwork delays right now on the northbound Tri-State Tollway 294. It's heavy from just past the Grand Avenue curve to Irving Park. Blue Island, a vehicle into a building. It's been there for a while. It's 2400 block of York Street. This is not far from the intersection of Vermont and Western. Elsewhere around the area, there were a lot of ramp closures affecting several expressways and tollways. Most of those ramps have now reopened. Have some road work lingering on inbound I-57. Traffic is just a bit tight from Halstead to the merge. Not seeing any other delays at the moment. Traffic, service of unbound.org. Places around the world, elders who long for community, connection, and the opportunity to live with greater dignity. Sponsor an elder through Unbound and help bring a brighter tomorrow to one person who has helped us all build a better world. Meet one at unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Some clouds and sunshine today, less humid for the afternoon with a high 86, then a partly cloudy night, low 68. Mostly sunny tomorrow, high 85, and a clear to partly cloudy night, low 69. Warm Thursday with clouds and sun, high 88. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
79 at O'Hare, 78 degrees along Chicago's lakefront. Our next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Brett Kavanaugh, a good pick, or Trump selling out with a insider elitist beltway selection? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Here's the president announcing his pick last night.
In keeping with President Reagan's legacy, I do not ask about a nominee's personal opinions. What matters is not a judge's political views, but whether they can set aside those views to do what the law and the Constitution require. I am pleased to say that I have found, without doubt, such a person. Tonight, it is my honor and privilege to announce that I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court.
And the people seem to like this.
They did. I was, I was pleasantly surprised because, of course, I was pulling for the lady. I was pulling for Amy Coney Barrett. But guess what happened? She never left her house in South Bend, Indiana yesterday. So by 4 o'clock, I conceded and realized it was Brett Kavanaugh. He seems law-abiding, respects the Constitution. Of course, he has great credentials, went to Yale. His mother is a prosecutor. His dad's an attorney as well. But you know what I like best, Dan? Not to go off the rails here.
He's a girls' basketball coach.
Not only that, a winning girls' basketball coach.
The girls on the team call me Coach K. I am proud of our Blessed Sacrament team that just won the city championship.
People respect that. They respect the game of basketball. And hopefully he'll continue coaching his daughters, Margaret and Lisa.
Maybe he could take over for Blaine. Since they didn't bring it home.
Hey, watch yourself.
This is a split decision at Blaine.
No, volleyball, we brought it home, not basketball.
Yeah. So it was very interesting. It was very, one of the things, before we get into his judicial background, just his acceptance speech for the nomination, if you will. You know, he was at the Bush White House, which is where he met his wife. He's been inside the Beltway his entire life, his entire professional career. And he's very politically savvy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it was very, and maybe this is who this guy is, I don't know. But it was very Brett Kavanaugh, not from inside the Beltway, but from Mayberry.
Yeah.
It was.
Speaking of his wife, first, his mother, his parents were there in the front row. It was very touching. They were teary-eyed and, of course, so proud of their son.
One of the few women prosecutors at that time, she overcame barriers and became a trial judge. The president introduced me tonight as Judge Kavanaugh, but to me, that title will always belong to my mom. My dad went to law school at night while working full-time. He has an unparalleled work ethic and has passed down to me his passion for playing and watching sports. I love him dearly. The motto of my Jesuit high school was men for others. I've tried to live that creed. I've spent my career in public service from the executive branch in the White House to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. I've served with 17 other judges, each of them a colleague and a friend. My judicial philosophy is straightforward. A judge must be independent and must interpret the law, not make the law. A judge must interpret statutes as written, and a judge must interpret the Constitution as written.
So, he presented a great case. He's clearly likable, and in giving of his time, he's philanthropic. Works for Catholic charities, delivers meals to the homeless, and respects women. He made a point to say a majority of his law clerks that he has hired are women.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point, is the political savvy nature of his introduction, and to start crafting the narrative around him, because he knows that the onslaught was starting even before he finished his speech. The organizers of the Women's March sending out a press release with insert name
right
here before the nomination was even made public. So he understands what he's up against. And so you had the full complement of personal story, his professional career, his family, meets his wife at the Bush White House. She is the town manager in the community in which they live. The two daughters he goes through, the coaching that he does, his education, his mom, and even before his mom as a trailblazer when it came to the legal profession, it was his mom as a history teacher in predominantly African-American high schools in D.C.
I was lucky. My mom was a teacher. In the 1960s and 70s, she taught history at two largely African-American public high schools in Washington, D.C., McKinley Tech and H.D. Woodson. Her example taught me the importance of equality for all Americans.
So
it was we're not a racist family.
It was a three-dimensional presentation of Brett Kavanaugh. I'm not just a judge, and I'm not just somebody that has this particular originalist, textualist philosophy when it comes to the Constitution, when it comes to a judge's responsibility to the Constitution and to equal justice for law. There's also all of this that forms me as well. And so it's important because his audience is not those people in the room. His audience is the United States Senate. His audience is the American public and popular opinion as this confirmation battle, and it will be a battle, goes forward. Bill in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. Listen, I just want to kind of chime in on this choice factor here. The bias application with the Democrats just going into complete hysteria is just absolute nonsense. If I can recall correctly, Barack Obama loaded the Supreme Court with Sotomayor and Kagan. Sotomayor was indeed, maybe you can correct me, Dan, if I'm wrong, was his law professor.
No.
So the agenda factors.
No,
or was it Kagan?
Yeah, Kagan, who he mentioned in his remarks, hired him to teach at Harvard. So there's another little, jab to the left is, well, by, Elena Kagan, when she was dean at Harvard, she didn't think I was some right-wing lunatic. She thought enough of me to hire me to teach at Harvard, to teach law students at Harvard. So that says something as well.
All right, very well. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks for the call, Bill. Yeah, he's got a lot there, which is why some of the immediate reactions from, that if you could just push out the white noise for a minute. Chuck Todd calling him very confirmable. Susan Collins saying he has impressive credentials. So it's going to be a battle, and there'll be some ugliness. But
well, how many red state Democrats do you think will vote for him?
Well, I think that's going to be part of the part of how we see this process move forward. So
Yeah,
we'll
Pence
see how.
is taking him door to door today to meet senators.
But the behind the door stuff is fine, and they're going to refer to pleasant conversations when they get before the cameras and do the actual confirmation hearing. The real test will be how he stands up to public scrutiny during the public confirmation hearing. And I think part of this selection, with ultimately a group of finalists, if you will, that were all very qualified and talented and so forth, is that this is a guy who knows this arena and will withstand the pressure and present well in this arena.
Oh, he knows how the game is played.
And make the and he has the skill set, the political savvy to work his way through a confirmation hearing and make it that much easier for the president. So I have a sense that was a bit of a deciding factor here.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, actor George Clooney involved in a motorcycle accident. But first, here's your forecast. Today, it's going to be turning sunny and seasonably warm, less humid by this afternoon. That'll be nice. A high of 86 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 68. And for tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high in the mid-80s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Any accidents to report on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Well, crashes right now, at least none that we have reported, but we have some major road work delays. The northbound Tri-State Tollway, 294. It's a solid mess right now from North Avenue to the O'Hare Oasis. This is due to overnight construction of the 3 left lanes. It's in the process of clearing. Until it does, that jam continues to grow, again starting around North Avenue. The southbound side is fine. The other tollways are good. No delays to report on the Edens or the Kennedy. The Eisenhower still okay. Stevenson good, getting a little congestion now in the area around Pulaski. On Ryan, about a 1-minute delay from Roosevelt to downtown. Outbound a little heavy, 91st to 95th. This is overnight work in the left lane. That should clear by 6. I-57. It was about 18 minutes I-80 to the merge. Stop and go from Halsted to the Ryan. There's work in the 2 left lanes. Bishop Ford just a little heavy approaching the Ryan. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
The rapid evolution of technology and industrial robotic automation systems offers a multitude of solutions that give manufacturers a competitive advantage. From ergonomics, quality control, and the need to meet increased production goals while improving the lives of everybody on the factory floor, industrial robotic automation can mean increased profitability and higher quality jobs. Matrix Industrial Automation has built a reputation as an industry leader in developing, building, and installing a wide range of turnkey robotic automation systems. Manufacturers big and small, local and worldwide, depend on Matrix to deliver the most optimal and robust industrial automation systems with improved ROI in mind. Nearly 2 decades of experience and hundreds of installed systems is why Matrix Industrial Automation, headquartered in Bartlett, Illinois, are the industrial automation experts. For information or to schedule a free automation consultation, visit matrixindustrialautomation.com or call 847-841-8260. That's matrixindustrialautomation.com.
A business needs to be built on a great foundation, one with the framework of integrity and tradition. With the experience of 3 generations of master builders, that's what Tyler Lane Construction wants to recreate on your next project. Their approach starts with TLC's veteran project managers, seasoned, hands-on professionals who understand job site issues. With a rock-solid foundation for your success, they'll handle the intricacies of project admin and coordination of work crews. Tyler Lane Construction employs state-of-the-art safety measures and strict adherence to budgets and schedules. And just like you, their project managers take extra pride in the work they do because every project needs TLC. See for yourself at TylerLaneInc.com. Ignite the vision for your own commercial renovation by clicking on the project videos to see the award-winning upgrade of Lane Tech High School, the renovation of the Harper College Engineering and Tech Center, and more. For your restoration project or new construction, you deserve TLC. Visit TylerLaneInc.com to get started. That's TylerLaneInc.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com. With $226 million in dividends declared since inception, their record speaks for itself. At Mag Mutual, one of the leading providers of medical professional liability insurance, you're more than a policyholder, you're a policy owner. As an owner, they believe you should benefit from your company's success, which is why they strive to return as much as they can back to their policy owners. Mag Mutual policyholders have received annual dividends every year since 2007, and they are continually looking for ways to provide greater value to policy owners in the practice, business, and regulation of medicine. In addition, they set aside millions on their financial statements exclusively for their Owner Circle loyalty program. Over 20,000 physicians and healthcare organizations are currently benefiting from Mag Mutual ownership. Are you? Visit them on the web at magmutual.com.
For more information about Mag Mutual in Illinois, please contact Jim Nelson at RT Nelson at 630-990-4220 or by email at jnelson@rtnelson.com. Visit their website at rtnelson.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about Trump's SCOTUS pick, Brett Kavanaugh, and already the protests are planned. The group Refuse Fascism, the fascist group Refuse Fascism, planning protests in 12 American cities, including our beloved Chicago. Chicago chapter event is entitled Keep Abortion Legal, No Fascist Supreme Court. That's going to be the rallying cry of the left as it comes to Kavanaugh.
Just don't shut down the Dan Ryan. Is that all right? One person real quickly who's happy that Thomas Hardiman didn't get it. Hardiman was the alleged runner-up to Neil Gorsuch. Another Thomas P. Hardiman, this guy, director of student conduct at North Carolina State University. He
also not selected.
But he wanted to remind the Twitter world because he was getting thousands of followers and all this, hey, good luck today, and then reasons why people are pulling for him. Hey, a friendly announcement to the Twitter world. I am not the Thomas Hardiman who may be nominated.
How does he
to the
know?
Supreme Court.
He could have been.
I want to get that message out to the public, and mentions have already started to begin. And then later on, he tweeted out, please don't let it be me, #SCOTUS pick.
Yeah, he's not ready for it. And he likes North Carolina State, sure, the Wolfpack. Rick Santorum rallied. He was an advocate for Thomas Hardiman. I don't know if it was the NC State guy or the actual appellate court judge. I think it was the appellate court judge from Pennsylvania. But Santorum, he was disappointed with the selection. Here's Santorum on CNN yesterday.
Donald Trump said he was going to energize the base with this pick. I don't think he did that. I think a lot of the folks in the base were sort of turned off to Brett Kavanaugh for the very reasons you heard discussed a few minutes ago. I mean, he is from Washington. He is the establishment pick. He is the Bush pick. He is someone. I mean, his father was a judge. His mother was a judge. It just seems like Trump in this case just bowed to the elite in Washington, and I think that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. I don't think it's going to be a game changer, but I think it's not a yeah, let's go get him kind of moment for Trump.
Yeah, I disagree with Santorum. I mean, it's all fine and good to root for Tom Hardiman, and he would have been well qualified as well. I disagree that it's not a rallying cry. Kavanaugh is a rallying cry. He's got a 12-year record, and we'll go through his important cases after we check the headlines. But this is a serious, thoughtful, conservative intellectual, and the whole kind of he worked in the Bush administration. Can we just stop doing that? Because it's done to me all the time. You're not the person that you worked for, not necessarily. So there have been great people that came out of the Reagan administration and some terrible people, too. And you could say that with every administration. I am not my boss. I am not the company I work for. And I think Brett Kavanaugh's record suggests that he can stand on his own 2 feet just fine, thank you. He's not George W. Bush. He's not George Herbert Walker Bush. He's not a member of the Bush family. He's somebody who worked in the Bush White House. Relax with that. Relax with that. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, you know what, Dan and Amy, my sources are telling me 3 things that are against this guy. 1, he puts ketchup on hot dogs.
Oh, boy.
2, he had a parking ticket in a predominantly white neighborhood. And 3, he once looked at a Playboy magazine. So he said he was reading the article, but he was looking, obviously. So anyway, those are the 3 things that I think they're going to come up against him. Have a nice day.
Thanks for the call. With the ketchup and the hot dog, you lost Bob Surratt's vote. It's vicious commentaries about putting ketchup on a hot dog from Bob Surratt.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll go through that judicial record of one Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh.
And hold on to your shorts. Father Pfleger is planning yet another shutdown in Chicago. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
79 degrees. 9 are now freed from a flooded cave in Thailand. Rescuers were able to bring out another person this morning. NBC News correspondent Matt Brady was on the scene.
There's an improvised helipad, and what they do is they've been rushing these boys from the helipad after arriving from the cave mouth.
Divers are back in that cave. They've been working for days to carry out the daring rescue mission. Federal appeals court judge Brett Kavanaugh is President Trump's pick for the U.S. Supreme Court. In a televised speech at the White House last night, the president said the 53-year-old Kavanaugh has impeccable credentials and is committed to equal justice under the law.
He is considered a judge's judge, a true thought leader among his peers. He is a brilliant jurist with a clear and effective writing style, universally regarded as one of the finest and sharpest legal minds of our time.
Vice President Mike Pence will escort the court nominee Kavanaugh to the Capitol for the first round of meet and greets with senators today. One of those senators, Bernie Sanders, ready to fight to oppose Brett Kavanaugh.
Look, I am not going to kid anybody. This is a tough fight, but it is a fight that we can win.
A few Democrats are already vowing to oppose anyone the Trump administration nominates. Federal judge denies the Trump administration and the president's request to detain immigrant children brought to the U.S. illegally by their parents for more than 20 days. Settlement between Volkswagen and about 475,000 owners of diesel vehicles is being upheld by a federal court. The decision was announced to uphold the more than $10 billion settlement from 2016. A woman is dead, a man critically hurt here in Chicago. They stabbed each other on the south side while exiting a CTA bus. Mayor Emanuel hoping a visit to China will help protect a major CTA deal from the Trump administration's growing trade dispute with China. The FBI investigating the death of an Illinois prison inmate. The Department of Corrections says the incident did occur on May 17th. Several staff members have been placed on administrative leave, and any activity, according to the Department of Corrections, that compromises the safety of staff and offenders will not be tolerated. And this is the day that many of you have been waiting for. It's time to break out the cow suit and head to Chick-fil-A as the fast food chain celebrates Cow Appreciation Day. Anyone who dresses up like a cow today will get free food from Chick-fil-A. That includes any entree on the menu or waffle fries. And in case you don't have that full cow costume lying around, chain says anyone who visits one of their restaurants wearing any sort of cow apparel will get that free entree. Pablo Sandoval singles in the winning run in the bottom of the 11th. Give the Giants a 2-1 win over the Cubs. White Sox and Cardinals begin a 2-game series tonight on the south side. France and Belgium square off later today in the first semifinal of the FIFA World Cup in Russia. The news service of the Ashley Home Store. Come into Ashley Home Store for a prime deal in Prime Deal Days, now through Monday. Save with prices starting as low as $195. Get up to 50% off, or 72 months, no interest. Quantities are limited. Hurry in today for our lowest prices ever. Ashley Home Store, this is home. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's become a summer tradition. Rockin' for the Troops returns this summer on July 14th at Northwestern Medicine Field in Geneva, home of the Kane County Cougars. Don't miss this year's lineup featuring Seventh Heaven, Ayla Brown, Rocky Lynn, The Voices, and Ryan Weaver. Proceeds will benefit Operation Support Our Troops America. Get your tickets today at rockinforthetroops.org. That's rockinforthetroops.org.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. It's the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
5:36. Let's get an update on the morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The northbound tri-state is jammed. North Avenue to the O'Hare Oasis due to overnight road work. Process of clearing out of the left lanes. The other tollways look good. The Edens Expressway is fine. No delays yet on the Kennedy. Got Eisenhower. Seeing a little bit of congestion through the avenues right now. Maybe a brief tap of the brakes, nothing more. The outbound side is clear. Stevenson inbound. A little slow First Avenue to Cicero. 37 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35, a little tight Cicero to Central. On Ryan, delays start at 87th, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 17 with road work. Delays from 91st to 95th. I-57, 18 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Mission 421. Traffic Service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drugged driving, their grief is unique. You're not alone. MAD is here to help. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. It comes from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny and warm conditions today. Less humid this afternoon. High of 86. 68 overnight. Sunny and 85 tomorrow. 77 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, again, Brett Kavanaugh for the court. Donald Trump introducing his selection to replace Anthony Kennedy on the Supreme Court yesterday night in prime time.
I didn't know that he was an only child.
When people ask what it's like to be an only child, I say it depends on who your parents are. I was lucky. My mom was a teacher.
Oh, yeah, then you know the rest of the story.
And so we talked a little bit about his personal background. Let's talk about his record as an attorney and a judge. And he dates back, and this is going to rankle Democrats for sure, to the Ken Starr investigation into Bill Clinton. He worked for Ken Starr, first when Ken Starr was the Solicitor General of the United States, and later when Starr was independent counsel. So Kavanaugh was part of the effort to impeach, successful effort to impeach President Clinton.
Yeah, he authored, he wrote the pressing questions for Bill Clinton. And then didn't he later represent Elian Gonzalez, too, and tried to keep him here in the country? That's what I had read, too. But I don't have a problem with that, and hopefully nobody will have a problem with that.
An interesting op-ed in the run-up to this last week over the holiday weekend by J.D. Vance, the author of Hillbilly Elegy. We've had him on the show. Yeah. He was a Yale law student. He had Judge Kavanaugh as a professor. He writes in the Wall Street Journal. He taught a foreign policy seminar the year that I was a Yale law student. What most impressed me was his willingness to defend himself and his principles in an ideologically hostile environment. For a conservative, finding my way in an institution where I was heavily outnumbered, Judge Kavanaugh's mentorship and example were invaluable. A few years later, he hired my wife as a law clerk, so I personally a proud Kavanaugh partisan. J.D. Vance goes on to argue that he has the necessary intellectual commitments, goes through some of his case history, which we'll go through, but that his intellectual prowess is something the High Court has recognized. His opinions have been adopted by Supreme Court justices 11 times. His record spans about every important area of law, and conservatives should be happy with his results, Vance argues. And he also makes an interesting point, which is an important one, and it's very consistent with the Federalist Society philosophy. Leonard Leo, who's been the point man for this, and the Federalist Society, who've been building this pipeline of talented conservatives, talented in the judicial arena for decades. Judge Kavanaugh could also be influential beyond the bench. Like a lot of conservative law students, I acquired my conservative constitutionalism after reading Justices Scalia and Thomas rebut their more progressive colleagues. The conservatives simply have the better arguments. And so he also just makes the point that Kavanaugh has the ability, the intellectual prowess to be influential to the next generation of law students and future jurists. So that's another value add that Kavanaugh brings to the table, which is not insignificant. On the case law itself, there's a lot of him showing up in a lot of important conservative liberal battles, if you will. You could argue they're just rule of law battles, but it's going to be seen through a partisan lens, starting back to the Clinton impeachment. But more recently, he has been key in doing a couple of things that are highly important, should be taken notice of, judicial notice, if you will, by conservatives. One is pulling back the administrative state. He's been at the tip of the spear in undermining the so-called Chevron doctrine, which would give deference to administrative agencies in rulemaking, really unaccountable lawmaking, because these are administrative officials. This is the fourth branch of government that we talk about all the time, the administrative state, which Trump, perhaps his greatest accomplishment as president so far, other than Supreme Court nominees, has been regulatory relief that he's provided, rolling back some of that administrative state. That's number one. Number two, Kavanaugh and the Heller decision and extending the Heller decision. He has been a stalwart defender of an individual's right to self-protection, of an originalist interpretation of the Second Amendment. So those are just kind of two areas among many that we should take notice of before we get into this some of the sniping that's going on within conservative circles about Kavanaugh because of his affiliation with the Bush administration.
And also, too, I mean, they say that, obviously he's a Washington insider. Chuck Schumer delayed his confirmation to the, U.S. District Appellate Court in D.C. for 3 years. And he's pretty much hell-bent on doing that again this time. He wants to try and stop it. But everyone seems to be up in arms about a piece he wrote when he talked about presidents should be shielded from litigation while in office. And a lot of people on the left think that that's why President Trump chose him, because he once, wrote those words. Yeah, that's
a position that's also held by confirmed left Democrat Alan Dershowitz. This is a legal opinion. And so, again, originalist interpretation of the Constitution, as Kavanaugh described his judicial philosophy and gave his message to the Senate yesterday, which he'll be giving it individually in meetings today.
I will tell each senator that I revere the Constitution. I believe that an independent judiciary is the crown jewel of our constitutional republic. If confirmed by the Senate, I will keep an open mind in every case, and I will always strive to preserve the Constitution of the United States and the American rule of law.
He's been criticized by some conservatives for an opinion he wrote on Obamacare that essentially, it's argued, Justice Roberts, adopted in upholding the constitutionality of Obamacare. But it was really an exercise. I see this as, and we'll get John Malcolm's interpretation of this as well as Randy Barnett's later in the show, two experts in this arena. But it was really a exercise of judicial restraint on the issue of the individual mandate and the whole question of whether or not it was a tax. Kavanaugh did write in his dissent that the Obamacare individual mandate was, quote, a law that is unprecedented on the federal level in American history, that it would, quote, that it presented, quote, a jarring prospect, unquote, and would, quote, usher in a significant expansion of congressional authority with no obvious principled limit. So he did open the door. He did express the concerns, and he did open the door to the individual mandate and what that meant. Opened a door to a constitutional challenge to Obamacare. But he essentially, in his dissent, exercised the restraint to say it shouldn't be preemptorily adjudicated prior to its imposition and left it to the high court. That's not the same thing as being some kind of backdoor defender of Obamacare, which he clearly was not. So I think that criticism of him from conservatives is not well-founded.
Do you think he has to worry about anything else?
Oh, there's this one.
Where they're going to keep digging deep. I mean, obviously, he seems to be a solid family man, good husband, great father.
If he wasn't taken.
I mean, really.
Here's the one thing that this is going to be sort of interesting. This will be an interesting moment for him. I'm sure he'll be prepared for it. But
what have you discovered?
Well,
who did he go to prom with, or did he not go to prom?
I didn't discover this. Robert Costa at the Washington Post reported it that. There's a passage in a David Brock book from 2002, Blinded by the Right, which, explains...
Blinded by the right, wrapped up like a douche, the roar. That song?
You can't say that word on there.
Deuce. I said dude. Well,
what did you say?
No, I know.
What did you say?
No, you know what?
That's gross. You're disgusting. Brett Kavanaugh would not be in your presence. David Brock's 2002 book, Blind by the Right, that explains his, conversion from the right to the left. Mm-hmm. In his book, David Brock, I'm not going to repeat the title.
Right.
His
Blinded by the Right.
Yes. What is it?
That's the thing. I don't.
Wrapped up like a what?
That was my.
Wrapped up like a deuce,
Deuce.
I said deuce.
Deuce.
I said deuce.
That's not what you said.
That was one of my first 45s.
We'll have Brett Kavanaugh adjudicate this case before he's seated.
What's really in the song?
Whether or not, you can stay on the airwaves. Recalling a 1997 State of the Union watch party at Laura Ingram's house.
Oh, boy.
I was not invited.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Brock claimed he saw Kavanaugh mouth the word bitch. Am I allowed to say that? I mean, I guess if you said what you said, I could say just about anything.
Deuce. I didn't say
disgusting.
What you said.
Brock claimed he saw Kavanaugh mouth the word bitch when a camera fan to then First Lady Hillary Clinton. Did you or did you not mouth the word
biatch
in response to our beloved former First Lady during the State of the Union address in 1997, Mr. Brock?
That question! And what do you think of your wife? Because his lovely wife will be sitting behind him like Louise Gorsuch sat behind him.
Have you no shame, Senator?
What did you mean?
Durbin. Yeah. So.
Honestly, do you think that's going to come up in his confirmation hearing?
These dumb senators? You don't think a Kamala Harris or a Dick Durbin or a Di-Fi is going to ask him about this? Absolutely, it's going to come up. I can't wait for this. What he should, here's what I would suggest: lean into it.
Oh yeah. Sir, did you or did you? All right, let's role play. I'm Dick Durbin, a very good-looking Dick Durbin. Did you or did you not repeat those words when the TV panned to Hillary Clinton? Did you say the B word?
I did not mouth that word.
What did you say then? Answer the question.
I didn't say anything.
Answer the question.
I didn't mouth the word. The question is, the allegation is I mouthed the word. I did not mouth that word.
Well, then what were you doing?
I said that word. I said it repeatedly. I had a couple of belts, and then I went even more blue. You know why? Because she's a disgrace, Senator. She should be in prison. My first act as a Supreme Court justice will be to launch my own independent prosecution of Hillary Clinton. And I don't care whether she and Bill are flying commercial or private. What is he knitting? What is he doing?
He's
reading
a book, but he has a pillow lap. Right? I know. I saw that. I watched that 30 seconds.
So that's the
What
only...
happened? Their private jet broke down?
Yeah. So it's first they couldn't pay for the mortgages, and now they can't pay to fly private. Not that this was staged or anything.
That's sitting in the first row and first class.
Maybe the tip-off for me was the photographic attribution, Uma Abedin. I thought maybe this is staged.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Dad, what are you doing?
Cramming for college.
I'm the one going to college.
Yeah, but we need to figure out how we're going to pay for it all.
Discover Student Loans.
Discover does student loans?
Yeah, they're one of the top student loan lenders in the country. It takes 15 minutes or less to apply, and there are no fees for the life of the loan. Best of all, I can earn cash rewards if I get good grades.
Really?
Yeah, we still have time to apply and get a great rate.
So I can just chill. College kids still say that, right?
No one says that, Dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply.
When you need bug bite relief.
Ow! Ow! What? Ow! Yikes!
Stepped in an ant bed relief.
What a pretty plant. Wait, is that...
Poison ivy relief. You need the power of Gold Bond Relief. Gold Bond Rapid Relief Cream has twice the medicines of hydrocortisone formulas to fight itch and relieve minor pain. Plus, vitamin E and aloe to help soothe skin fast. Gold Bond. Relief starts now. Use as directed.
Hey, why does your basement leak only when it's rain? That's what I hear a lot of people say. Like, it's not a big deal. It's just when it rains. But you know what? Mold can be created. It smells down there in that basement. Go to Perma-Seal.com. Perma-Seal.net, and get that problem fixed. They offer free estimates. There's no price haggling. There's a price assurance guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value in the industry. Roy Spencer started Perma-Seal back in 1979, and it's still a local Chicagoland business doing the right thing, standing behind their work. Did you know they have the most positive reviews of any waterproofing company on the Better Business Bureau website? Your basement is already dry most of the time, but you know who to call if you want your basement dry all of the time. Call Perma-Seal, 1-800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325. Or check out Perma-Seal.net.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
Dinovite.
Nutrition.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa. The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Hey, it's Dan Proft. You've heard me talk about how Maxon Shooter Supplies has raised the bar for 60 years as Chicagoland's premier gun shop and indoor shooting range. Maxon offers 20 state-of-the-art indoor lanes and was the first five-star facility to be named in Illinois, only one of 27 ranges nationwide. Visit Maxon this Saturday and celebrate their 60th anniversary, sponsored by Smith & Wesson. You'll be able to shoot a variety of Smith & Wesson firearms for only $10 and purchase raffle tickets to win a Liberty TAC 24 floor safe or a Smith & Wesson M&P pistol. Plus, range passes are buy one, get one free, and all Smith & Wesson firearms will be on sale. Limited edition 60th anniversary T-shirts will be available, and you can help Maxon raise money for USA Cares to benefit veterans and their families. Maxon Shooter Supplies is in Des Plaines right near O'Hare. Information and directions for this Saturday's 60th anniversary can be found at maxonshooters.com. That's Maxon, M-A-X-O-N, shooters.com. Don't miss it.
Building owners and managers. Now is the perfect time of year for a service and maintenance agreement with Waukegan Roofing. Since 1914, Waukegan Roofing has been installing and maintaining roofs you can rely on for all of Chicagoland. Our experienced team of professional service technicians is the right solution for preserving the integrity of your new or existing roofing system for years to come. With your dedicated service technician and our multi-point inspection program, we cover all areas of your roof from early detection to preventative maintenance to repairs and everything in between. We're the licensed commercial roofing contractor you can rely on for all your roofing needs. Building owners and managers, now is the time to prepare your low-slope commercial roof for everything that Mother Nature throws at it this year. Call Waukegan Roofing today for your service and maintenance appointment at 877-ROOF-201. That's 877-ROOF-201. Or visit us online at waukeganroofing.com. Waukegan Roofing, installing roofs you can rely on since 1914.
Illinois licensee 104000761.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
5:57. Let's get an update on the morning roads. We do that in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Conditions have improved on the northbound Tri-State Tollway. It's still heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the O'Hare Oasis. There was a big jam earlier thanks to overnight road construction. Now it's just slow through that area, but not a massive jam. Other tollways look great. The Edens is fine. Kennedy, inbound, you've got a 2-minute delay. Cumberland to Canfield. Outbound still okay. On Eisenhower, stop and go Wolf to Oak Park Avenue. 41 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 30. Stevenson, 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35. Ryan is 25 minutes, 95 to downtown. Outbound now fine at 15. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 421. Traffic, it's a service of unbound.org. Around the world, there are young people who face a difficult decision: continue their dream of education or drop out to help support their families. In a single moment, you can help. See potential, not poverty. Unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Seasonably warm today with some clouds, then sunshine. Less humid for the afternoon with a high today 86. Partly cloudy for the night, low 68. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high getting up to 85. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
77 at O'Hare, the news, a service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or madd.org. 5:58. Here are the stories we're following this morning on AM 560. The Answer. A woman is dead, a man critically hurt after they stabbed each other on Chicago's South Side exiting a CTA bus. Authorities revealing new information about the 3-year-old who died in a fire over the weekend on Chicago's South Side. Maquan Jones was locked inside of an apartment who didn't realize that he was home. Illinois U.S. senators reacting to President Trump's nomination of Brett Kavanaugh to the U.S. Supreme Court. U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth says if Kavanaugh hopes to earn her support, he must make it clear that he would be independent, while Senate Democrat Whip Dick Durbin says it's his opinion that Kavanaugh is a judge who consistently favors big business. Giants 2-1 winners over the Cubs. White Sox and Cardinals will begin a 2-game series on the south side tonight, and the Baby Bulls square off with the Hawks in the Las Vegas Summer League. WIND Chicago News Time 6.
President Trump calls him a judge's judge. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Brett Kavanaugh is his pick for the Supreme Court.
There is no one in America more qualified for this position, and no one more deserving.
Kavanaugh once clerked for the justice he's nominated to replace, Anthony Kennedy, and has spent 12 years on the D.C. Appeals Court after working as a Bush White House attorney.
I believe that an independent judiciary is the crown jewel of our constitutional republic.
He's liked on the right, not on the left. That was a protest outside the Supreme Court. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, the other side was mobilizing ahead of the announcement. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said he'll oppose Judge Kavanaugh's nomination with all that he has. Senator Cory Booker among Democrats protesting outside the U.S. Supreme Court.
Do we want to go backward 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years?
Republican Senator Ben Sasse supports the president's pick.
This isn't the apocalypse. This is a chance to teach our kids basic civics and to celebrate checks and balances.
Former President George W. Bush, who nominated Kavanaugh to the D.C. Circuit, praised the selection on Twitter, calling him a brilliant jurist. Dave?
Rachel, there are reports 3 more boys have been rescued from that cave in Thailand as the operation continues to get the final one out.
Then the coach, then the doctor, then the 3 SEAL officers. The rescue mission could actually include 9 people. Now, the doctor and the Navy SEALs have been inside. The only concern right now is the rain.
Fox's Jeff Paul outside the hospital where the 8 boys rescued the past 2 days are still under observation. Another federal judge has ruled against President Trump and an attempt to detain illegal immigrant families together long term. The administration argues it provides incentive for immigrants to bring children across the border. Meanwhile, today, and under another court order, more than 50 kids under the age of 5 will be reunited with immigrant parents they were separated from. About 50 others won't be reunited by today's deadline. Some parents can't be located. Fox News, fair and balanced.
President Trump has announced his pick for the Supreme Court.
It is my honor and privilege to announce that I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court.
Now the spotlight shines on Brett Kavanaugh.
I will always strive to preserve the Constitution of the United States and the American rule of law.
Find out what happens next, right here on your station for Supreme Court confirmation answers. This is AM 560, The Answer.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 72 months plus $1,000 Ford credit bonus cash on a great lineup of Ford SUVs. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $1,389 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Not available on Expedition. For all offers, take new retail delivery from authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Retirement Zone Radio and the North Shore Capital Group, empowering you Saturday afternoons at 4.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We'll get back to Brett Kavanaugh in just a minute, but we've got another sort of Me Too case for the PHAT posse potentially to pounce upon, and that's next door Curtis Hill, we've had him on the show before. He's the Attorney General of Indiana. He's in a bit of hot water. Potentially, there are allegations that are being leveled against him.
Yeah, allegations were made public after an internal investigation. A legislative memo was leaked to the media last week, and it talks about this little party that went on last March in Indianapolis after the legislative session ended. Everybody goes out and they have parties and they do karaoke. It's a big moment. And in the early morning hours after this party, one lawmaker from Munster, Indiana, says that Curtis Buttocks leaned in toward
Curtis Hill.
Curtis Hill.
Curtis Buttocks.
Curtis Hill.
Get your mind out of the gutter. First the blinded by the light reference, now this.
She said he leaned in toward her, put his hand on her back, slid it down, and grabbed her buttocks. Why are they?
Why are you
She then
laughing?
told him to back off. But he approached her again later in the evening and put his hand on her back and said, "That skin, that back."
Okay. And
Dramatic reading.
And
Thank you.
the response from Curtis Hill and other legislators has been what?
Well, they are asking for him to resign.
Who's
And
they?
The governor of Indiana and other
Eric Holcomb has called for him to resign.
Yep, and other lawmakers. So he had a press conference yesterday. He did not take any questions from reporters, and he was defending himself.
These past several days have witnessed my name and reputation dragged through the gutter in ways I would have never imagined. Apparently, in this climate, the standard is guilty, and who cares if you're innocent?
I mean, that's the truth. Does he deserve to tell his side of the story? 312-642-5600 is a turnkey.pro answer line.
Curtis Hill is a married man?
Yes, he's married. He's a Republican, been in the Republican Party, considered a rising star, former Elkhart County prosecutor, also an Elvis impersonator, who has...
Doesn't usually work out well for Elvis impersonators in high office. I think we've got some experience with that here.
Yeah, but they say if Hill does not resign, majority Republicans can take action on him to remove him.
And it's one allegation at this point.
No, it's three allegations.
Three
staffers and two
different
lawmakers
individuals.
claim that he was handsy, but all seemed to happen at that one party.
Well, wait, he groped 5 people at one party?
He was very busy. Yes.
3 staffers and 2 lawmakers all say they were groped by Curtis Hill at the same party.
At the same party.
And these are all, I mean, you have to look at everything with a bit of a jaundiced eye. Are these all Democrats?
You know what? The staffers, I don't know what their political affiliation is, but one's a Democratic rep, Mara Candelia Reardon. Do you know her?
No.
And Gabrielle McLemore. Those 2 are Indiana State Democrats.
Macklemore?
Or maybe that. Yes.
Name assassinator? I mean, honestly, we need to get phonetics spellings of every name that is going to be uttered on this show if you're going to be in charge of uttering it.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, forecast for today. Sunny, warm, a high of 86 today. It will be less humid by this afternoon. That's good. But then the heat really and humidity returns toward the end of this week. Tomorrow we'll have mostly sunny skies and a high of 85 degrees. Let's see if he's there. Go into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte. Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to do what I did and call the most honest and knowledgeable lender, Team Hochberg. Abby, millennial, purchasing a home, so her father recommended she call Team Hochberg to get approved before speaking with a realtor. Instead, Abby consulted her friends who have never purchased a home and applied for a mortgage online. Now, Abby called her dad frustrated because the online lender wasn't responding to her emails. Abby's father told her to stop messing around online and call Team Hochberg, the only lender he trusted to help his daughter. Team Hochberg approved Abby to purchase a home before speaking with a realtor, and Team Hochberg's real estate experts found Abby the perfect home. The internet's great, folks, for purchasing socks and shoes, not mortgages. If you're purchasing a home, then call Team Hochberg right now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 for straightforward, honest advice. Do what I did. Call Team Hochberg, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358, NMLS 19186.
Dad, what are you doing?
Cramming for college.
I'm the one going to college.
Yeah, but we need to figure out how we're going to pay for it all.
Discover Student Loans.
Discover does student loans?
Yeah, they're one of the top student loan lenders in the country. It takes 15 minutes or less to apply, and there are no fees for the life of the loan. Best of all, I can earn cash rewards if I get good grades.
Really?
Yeah, we still have time to apply and get a great rate.
So I can just chill. College kids still say that, right?
No one says that, Dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply.
When you need bug bite relief.
Ow! Ow! What? Ow! Yikes!
Stepped in an ant bed relief.
What a pretty plant. Wait, is that...
Poison ivy relief. You need the power of Gold Bond Relief. Gold Bond Rapid Relief Cream has twice the medicines of hydrocortisone formulas to fight itch and relieve minor pain. Plus, vitamin E and aloe to help soothe skin fast. Gold Bond Relief starts now. Use as directed.
I love my Catholic school. My teachers help me to succeed academically. In fact, students at the Catholic schools in the Joliet Diocese are ahead in every category academically by 20 to 30 points compared to national norms. And 92% of 7th graders meet or exceed growth expectations in reading, language, math, science, and social studies.
You just heard my daughter talk about why she loves her Catholic school. And as a parent, I may not be able to control what is happening in our culture, but I can control how my children are educated. I do that by sending them to a Catholic school where they are formed in the image of Jesus Christ so that they have the moral foundation to make the right choices based on the teachings of the Catholic Church. If you want to provide your child with a moral compass to navigate our culture, consider sending him or her to a Catholic school.
Now you can join me at my school. Participating Catholic schools in the Joliet Diocese in conjunction with the Catholic Education Foundation are offering transfer grants of $1,500 to elementary school students and $3,000 to high school students who transfer from a public school. Restrictions apply. For more information, go to WeTeachMore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I went to have my blood test done a few weeks ago, and I met the doctor, and he was really encouraged by my progress, and I showed him what I was taking, and he started looking at all the ingredients, and he said, I'm really impressed with the shiitake mushroom. And he said, this stuff, it could clean out your arteries. And I'm like, oh, wow. He said, you may be onto something here. And he said, you just keep that up, and maybe you can start cutting back on your medication. And he says, you're helping your health by doing that. And I'm like, whoa, endorsement by the doctor.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, it took a while for this movie to not so much get made, but find a distributor. Certainly the popular streaming services like Amazon and Netflix weren't interested. I wonder if their lack of interest was politically motivated, because it's a huge story that was suppressed as much as was possible by the D.C. press corps. Talking about the story of Kermit Gosnell, who is an abortionist and murderer, who is serving what amounts to a life sentence now in Pennsylvania for the murder of 3 infants born alive during abortions that he murdered, and one of his adult patients also murdered at this Philadelphia House of Horrors abortion mill that he operated. A movie has been made. It's started not shortly after was written and began production shortly after he was convicted in 2014. Big name as a star, Dean Cain, really? Superman.
Oh, yeah.
But it took a long time to get distribution until right before Independence Day. It was announced by the filmmakers that they have distribution, and they're going to be in 750 theaters around the country starting this October. And given the backdrop of what is going to be one of the preeminent issues debated with respect to the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh, the timing couldn't be better. We're pleased to be joined by one of the filmmakers responsible for this movie, Gosnell, The Untold Story of America's Most Prolific Serial Killer. She is Ann McElhaney, and she joins us now. Ann, thanks for being with us again. Appreciate it.
It's good to be here. Thanks so much. Yeah, we're really happy. And as you say, the timing couldn't be better for this movie.
So this is based on a book you wrote about Gosnell, correct, the movie?
That's right. We wrote a book called Gosnell, The Untold Story of America's Most Prolific Serial Killer, which became a New York Times bestseller, sold out in 3 days. We got invited to the White House. It's a shocking story. When we started making the movie and doing interviews and talking to the cops and talking to the prosecutors, we realized that a lot of the stuff that actually happened green, you could never make a film showing that stuff. So that's why we wrote the book. So that, for anyone listening who thinks, oh my God, I could never go and see this movie, it's exactly the opposite. We were very careful to make the movie something that everyone could watch, that families could watch, that kids as young as 12 could watch. We've just, exactly. So that's basically that was always our intention. But the book is different to that.
Well, and you got Dean Cain, who's dreamy. I'll go watch it just for Dean Cain. But Dean Cain,
no, he's fabulous. He plays the lead. He plays the lead in the film. He plays Detective Jim Wood.
How did you
amazing cop?
How did you get him to sign on to this film with him understanding what potentially the political implications would be for him in Hollywood?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a brave guy, and I think he's courageous. He was not. He was on very quickly. Actually, we didn't. He was no reluctance on his part, and I can tell you, he was. Most of the actors that we approached, that was not their answer to us. Okay. So, I mean, in the case of Dean, he was very fast to sign up, and we were really grateful. Well, he's wonderful.
What actors did you approach that turned down the role?
I would have. I can't. I don't think I'm allowed to say exactly who did that.
All right,
but I can tell you it happened. It happened a lot, and people. We even had cases where people said, "Oh, I'm going to do it," and then 4 days later, they'd obviously gone home, thought about it, talked to friends, and said, "Oh, I forgot. I'm going on a road trip during that time." And people literally were coming up with the dog at my homework sort of stuff, like the most ludicrous. And we had that many times.
Well,
in the end, we've got a great cast. We have Nick Searcy as well, who a lot of your listeners
Justified.
know. Nick Searcy, who is in Justified, a number of the films that were nominated for Oscars last year, and he's also the director of the film. And we have Sarah Jane, another actor a lot of people would know. It's quite a star-studded cast. I mean, we raised the money by crowdfunding. I don't know if you remember that. We did this massive crowdfunding campaign, broke all kinds of records. 29,000 people in the end paid $2.3 million to make this movie happen. And then Hollywood decided they didn't want us to ever, let it ever see the light of day.
Well, it's funny, too, not ha-ha funny, but rather ironic, because I remember after Gosnell was convicted, Planned Parenthood put out a statement essentially saying, oh, well, this guy was terrible, of course, and we, of course, don't condone anything that he did, but that has nothing to do with safe, legal abortion and so forth. But it doesn't it say something about the unwillingness to confront what Gosnell did, the murders that he committed, the unwillingness to really confront them by ostensible pro-choicers or these pro-abort organizations like Planned Parenthood? Doesn't that say something about them?
It says so much about them. I mean, there's so much about what they said in their statement that's just completely wrong. I mean, here was a situation where this guy was well known to be up to no good. Let's put it that way. And 2 women died. So 2 women died in the clinic. And during that time when 2 women died, the Department of Health in Pennsylvania, 17 years passed. During those 17 years, when unbelievable reports of atrocities happening there were being constantly reported to the Department of Health, no one inspected in 17 years. Even when this story came to light, the media wouldn't report on it. Planned Parenthood had one of the inspectors, an abortion inspector, had gone in to this clinic at one point, said it was the worst place they'd ever been to. What are they called? The National Abortion Federation had sent someone in there. These are all the Planned Parenthood type people. Sent someone in there to inspect the place. Said it was the worst place they'd ever been. Came out, didn't tell anyone. Didn't tell the cops, didn't report it. hospitals around Philadelphia knew this was going on, and no one did anything about it. Even when they raided the clinic, the night, and we have this in the movie, the night that they eventually raided the clinic and caught up with this guy, they allowed him to continue aborting babies while they were there, while there were cats walking across the floor, while they had discovered fetuses, lots of them, babies' bodies, in the basement, and they let him continue. And you know why they let him continue? Why? The Department of Health said to them, let him continue to work. And lots of your listeners know what these departments of health around the country are like. They'd close a restaurant if they found a piece of dust, you're trying to run a wee bar, run a little business. Oh no, the Department of Health shut you down overnight. But they allowed him to continue to do these abortions, even in those conditions. I mean, the story is unbelievable, and it's about time people knew about it. Right. I mean, I've had the experience of going somewhere, getting my hair done, and someone saying, "What do you do?" And I say, "Oh my God, I'm going to tell them the story." I tell them the story. People have never heard of him.
Yeah,
well,
right.
in their defense, Fox News, Brett Baer on Fox News did do an hour-long special on Kermit Gosnell, and it was so horrifying. I felt as if I was watching a horror film. So you said that we can take kids as young as 12 to your movie. How is that possible that you? I mean, I applaud you for doing it, but how did you do that?
Well, I mean, there's ways of doing things. We don't show anything. We never show anything. And so I would say to people, anyone trying to work out, like, could I go and see this? If you can watch, Law. I mean, this is like a Law and Order episode. Obviously, what they're describing, what they talk about, is abortion, but you don't see anything. And I can tell we've had people go, and I've had this. This is one of the things that's important for us because we've been talking to audiences, and people have said, "Oh, I'm scared. I really don't know if I could ever go and see that." And they've gone and seen it and said, "No, there's no problem. You can totally see this." It's upsetting, but it's not horrific because you never see anything.
When you, the name of your book and the name of the film, The Untold Story of America's Most Prolific Serial Killer. I mean, people think of serial killers and they think of John Wayne Gacy or Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer. Why do you describe Gosnell this way?
Because for sure he killed more people than all of those names combined, and we know this. And it's not us saying this. The grand jury, who spent a year investigating this case, said he killed thousands and thousands of babies. In fact, one of the ABC journalists, who eventually investigated the story, said this guy is probably the biggest serial killer in American history. But you know what? If you look on Wikipedia, you won't find him on any list of serial killers. We're going to change all that. Here was a guy who, induced women to give birth to babies so that babies were born alive. Many of them lived quite a while because he wasn't often there. And he had these untrained staff just filling women up with these drugs that would induce the babies to be born alive. And then they would lie there and wait till Gosnell came or someone came to snip their necks with scissors. And this went on for so long, why we confidently say, that he was America's biggest serial killer. He is.
It seems like it took a lot longer to get a distributor than it did to get the money to raise the film to make the film. What was that process like, and how did you ultimately secure the distributor that you did so that people can see this?
Oh God! I mean, it's almost like another story in itself. I mean, we have to write the book of that someday. I mean, when we originally made the movie and showed it to an agent in Hollywood who said, "Oh, this is great. This film's great. You're going to have no problem, getting distribution." And then he went around all the major distribution houses, all over Hollywood, and no one said the film wasn't good. In fact, they said the very opposite. Many of them said, "Oh my God, this is extraordinary. This is an amazing story." Yeah, but we couldn't show it. It wouldn't be for us. Too controversial. These are people who say that their whole lifeblood is controversy.
Right.
But no, we all know why they didn't want to show this film. And in the end, what we had to do was we had to raise a lot of money, and we found a distribution company who are working with us. But it wasn't easy, and we had to do the harder route, which is what you have to do often with independent story. With this story, the hurdles have been just incessant. I mean, we made the movie 4 years ago, and it has taken this long, and we weren't we weren't sitting back on our oxters. We have just tried absolutely everything, but thank God, I mean, 750 screens. It's going to start on 750 screens, 12th of October. Everyone, please save the date, 12th of October. And what really needs to happen now is every theater needs to be packed. Every theatre needs to be packed out that night for that whole weekend. People can buy out a whole theatre. If you really, if you're listening and inspired by this, you make sure everyone you've ever heard of fills that theatre and sends a message.
And
because this story needs to be known. It's an incredible story.
It is.
He's in jail forever.
It's an incredible book that you wrote, and I'm sure this has been, as you say, turned into a compelling movie. October 12th is the date. People want to track this, make sure they understand where the theaters are that are showing it. Is there a website they can go to?
Absolutely. They can go to gosnellmovie.com. Just go to gosnellmovie.com. It'll bring you to a website. You can, give your email address there, and we'll keep you constantly informed of exactly where the theaters are near you.
The website, Gosnell, Gosnell, gosnellmovie.com. She is the author and one of the filmmakers, Ann McElhaney. The movie coming out October 12th. Remember that day. Gosnell, the untold story of America's most prolific serial killer. Ann, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with the film.
Thank you so much for having me. God bless. Bye. Bye.
Bye. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
How much do you spend on your pest control each year? $200, $300, or even $500 or more? What if I said you could spend less than $25 a year, even less with promo code RADIO20? Then listen up. G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free, and yes, it is possible to rid your home or business of unwanted pests for less than $25 per year. The answer is Plug-in Pest Free. Our best seller, the Plug-in Pest Free Pro, will cover up to 4,000 square feet. Now that's fair income. For just a one-time cost of only $249, even less with promo code RADIO20, you'll be pest-free for years to come. Log on to gopestfree.com today. Use promo code RADIO20 and start driving those pests away. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget. Gopestfree.com. That's gopestfree.com, promo code RADIO20.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs and get rid of your pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you got it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain. Find the source and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
As you approach retirement, it's important to determine the amount of income you can receive from Social Security. Depending on when and how distributions are taken, you may be able to optimize the benefits you're eligible to receive, particularly among married couples. Call Jack Taboda today to get a copy of his informational booklet, The Social Security Decisions. This informational booklet presents the facts about Social Security distribution options to help you determine when and how to begin taking distributions, so you may receive more income over the course of your retirement. To receive your Social Security Decisions informational booklet, call Jack at 630-777-7955 or visit Taboda.com. That's TEBODA.com. Get the most out of your Social Security benefits. Call today, 630-777-7955.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and Taboda & Associates are not affiliated companies. Taboda & Associates is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy just picking up the discussion about that Gosnell movie coming out October 12th. The related story. Illinois taxpayer-funded abortions increased at least 274% in the first 6 months of 2018, thanks to Governor Rauner signing HB 40, which is the taxpayer financing of abortion on demand in this state, the biggest pro-abortion move of any governor in the history of America, against the backdrop
He's a Republican.
Against the backdrop of Brett Kavanaugh, against the backdrop of the Gosnell movie. Peter Breen, who state rep and House Republican floor leader, he, like all other 72 legislative Republicans in the Illinois General Assembly voted against the legislation the governor signed with Democrats. Said by the time the program gets ramped up, these numbers are going to be 10 times what these preliminary numbers are. So even if you're pro-choice, this is why there's a supermajority of Illinoisans that oppose this. It's just the radical left, including Governor Rauner, that supports it. Because even if you are for it, you don't necessarily want your money to go finance it.
No, I mean, I have friends that are pro-choice who said, what is this?
Right.
Our tax dollars are paying for people's abortions?
A new open-ended entitlement program in a state that is bankrupt financially, morally, and in every other conceivable way. This is what has come out of a Republican governor with a Democrat General Assembly and Republican opposition to it. So just against that backdrop, so you understand why maybe there's a little bit the enthusiasm for Governor Rauner's reelection is a little bit lacking.
Well, speaking of Governor Rauner, coming up, he turns from Twitter to TV. Hear what he has to say about the Dan Ryan being shut down by protesters. Meanwhile, Father Pfleger is plotting his next move, and it's going to be bigger than the Dan Ryan. He may take it to the sky.
And Nancy Pelosi comes out of the closet.
Oh, but first, let's go to the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
We have clear skies this morning, 78 degrees. Rescuers have brought 3 more boys out of a flooded cave in Thailand. Today's rescues mean only 1 more boy and the youth soccer coach remain in that cave in northern Thailand. Senator Cory Booker this morning says he's worried about the president's pick to the U.S. Supreme Court.
She picked the one guy who has specifically written that a president, in fact, should not be the subject of a criminal investigation, which the president is right now.
The New Jersey Democrat says he's also concerned about Judge Kavanaugh's work on the Starr report. The president's choice calls himself an independent, says laws and the Constitution should be judged as written.
If confirmed by the Senate, I will keep an open mind in every case, and I will always strive to preserve the Constitution of the United States and the American rule of law.
The president revealed his pick in a primetime speech here on AM 560 last night. Chicago Police Department mourning after an officer took his own life at a far south side police station Sunday night. Police investigators say Brandon Kruger shot himself in the head while sitting in his squad car in the parking lot of the station near 111th and Ellis. Kruger was hired by CPD 5 years ago, assigned to the Bureau of Organized Crime. The department's chaplain and grief counselors are on hand. A cracked windshield is to blame for forcing a Tokyo-bound American Airlines flight to return to O'Hare carrying 164 passengers and 13 crew safely back to their emergency landing. A man accused of harassing a woman wearing a Puerto Rican flag shirt while intoxicated last month at a Cook County forest preserve. Video of that incident shows the suspect berating the woman for wearing the shirt. The Forest Preserve's tweeting out yesterday the man has been charged with assault and disorderly conduct. And you may like shopping at a store called Fresh Market, but beware, 4 of those Illinois stores are among 15 being closed nationwide. No closing dates have actually been announced, but the grocer says those closures will be at Lincolnshire and Glen Ellen stores, along with stores in Peoria and Normal. Giants over the Cubs in 11, 2-1. Sox and Cardinals begin a 2-game series on the South Side tonight. The News is a service of Aruba Tourism. Be one happy family on one happy island. Vacation in sunny Aruba with accommodations to fit every family size and budget. Hop a daily nonstop flight from O'Hare to one happy island. Plan your happy escape to Aruba today at aruba.com. 6:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager doesn't normally resort to name calling, but sometimes the shoe fits.
I hate calling people names, but it has come to the point where there are people on the left now so freely use Nazi that I think calling them an arrogant fool is somewhat mild, would you say, compared to Nazi?
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Pursue your passion with a degree from Aurora University Online. Choose fully online programs in business, computer science, and more. To learn more, visit online.aurora.edu.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for upstream-ideas.com. You're welcome, America. That's not a statement a resident of Illinois gets to make very often with sincerity, but the nation owes a debt of gratitude to two Illinoisans who advance the cause of liberty for millions more Americans through their courage to dissent. Pam Harris and Mark Janis are their names. Pam is the mother of a young man with developmental disabilities who resisted SEIU's attempt to force parents of children with disabilities into its union, literally pitting parents against their children. Pam took her case all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in her favor in 2014. That set the table for Mark Janis, a child support specialist for the state of Illinois who challenged his forced membership in and financing of AFSCME. Mark took his case all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in his favor in June. Without Harris, there would have been no Janis. Without Janis, public sector workers in 22 states would still be second-class citizens with respect to their First Amendment rights. Courage begets courage. As I know them both, I can tell you what they would say about the history they've made. Don't worry about remembering our names. Focus instead on emulating our example.
6:35. Let's get an update on the morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. It's a slow ride on the northbound tri-state between the Reagan Tollway and the O'Hare Oasis. Really heavy through that stretch after overnight road work cleared late. Eastbound Adams Tollway just a bit tight from tri-state to Kennedy. The other tollways are still okay. Eden's inbound delays start at Niles Center, 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 29 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 14 from Montrose, 10 on the Express, outbound 27 minutes to the airport. Got Eisenhower delays start at Wolf Road, 45 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 31. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Traffic service of Geico Chicagoland. Chicago Geico now has even more ways to help save you money. Kevin, your local Geico agent, is ready to deliver the personal service you need with the savings you love. Stop by his local office on Cicero Avenue or call 773-582-8888 for Kevin, your local Geico agent. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. And your official Chicagoland weather forecast comes from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. A sunny day ahead, seasonably warm, a little less humidity this afternoon with a high of 86, partly cloudy and 68 overnight. Currently in Chicago, 77 at O'Hare and 79 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news is at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the lawyers of Kelleher and Buckley. Targeted legal advice for your business. KelleherandBuckley.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. What should Father Pfleger do? My candidate for mayor, by the way. What should Father Pfleger do for an encore to the Dan Ryan shutdown this weekend? What the evil Knievel of the Catholic Church, if you will, what is the next stunt that he should pull or the next catastrophe he should induce? Want your suggestions. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And think big. I mean, don't just think ground transportation. We've got waterways.
Right.
We got the skies. We'll soon have pneumatic tubes, courtesy of Elon Musk. So think big.
The Boring Company. Yeah, because Father Pfleger came out yesterday and said he's going to plot his next move, which he says will be bigger and more dramatic than shutting down the Dan Ryan Expressway. That just wasn't enough. That was just a little taster, a little appetizer, so to speak.
You know what I think the government needs to understand that civil disobedience is doing things that the mainstream feel are not acceptable. It's a fundamental failure on the elected officials in the state and in Chicago.
All the gun violence that's going on.
Well,
the murder
I mean,
rate.
he's right about that. He's right about it's a
Right.
fundamental failure of the government to not provide for the physical security of its constituents. He's right about that.
So he wants something done because obviously Dan Ryan takeover didn't work. I mean, still four people were murdered.
5 and 35.
They changed it down to
it didn't work. Oh boy, that's shocking. Here, let's see. What should he do though? What should he do? What if he got a bunch of disco records together from the 70s and he put them in center field at Comiskey Park or the G-Spot and blew them up during a He actually doesn't need to do it in between Sox games. He could do it during a Sox game.
Yeah.
What about that?
Well, there is some talk of possibly shutting down a runway at O'Hare Airport. And I'm not kidding.
I like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Really? That's dangerous. And Governor Ronner spoke yesterday. He went from Twitter to television.
Just as no one should walk onto a runway at O'Hare Airport, no one should walk onto an interstate expressway.
Oh, there you go. Is that a dare?
See? Did he feed him an idea by saying O'Hare Airport, a runway?
Let's see. I'm trying to just work out the logistics here. So how many people will we need to shut down 14 right, 32 left?
1,000 took 5 lanes.
Yeah, you want
for a mile and a half.
You gotta think about the crisscrossing runways.
Well, yeah, and the parallel runways too.
Which
one? Because you're pilot.
Plus, maybe you shut down. Maybe you do a terminal shutdown as well as a runway shutdown. Maybe you shut down a terminal in one area and a runway like at the international terminal. So you shut down international flights too.
What about Midway Airport? That'd be a lot easier. Jump that fence there. Get your message out. Carry your signs.
What if he
put people's lives in danger?
What if you had
again?
What if you had 1,000 people scale the Hancock Building like Spider Dan?
Oh yeah.
What about that? What if he crashed a blimp into DuSable Bridge? Something like that. What if he got a bunch of people from Western Electric for a company outing, and he capsized the boat in the river at the dock? What about? I'm trying to, he's got to be big.
It's got to be big.
It's got to be bigger than shutting down the Dan Ryan. That was big.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Jerry in Palatine.
Hey, I think that he should try self-immolation. That ought to get a nice story.
Sure, very Vietnam era. Thanks for the call, Jerry. Okay. John in Palatine.
Hi, Dan and Amy. I think it would be kind of playful if Father Pfleger and all of his activists jumped into Buckingham Fountain and disrupted the sightseeing.
Okay. They're not really a playful group.
A large bird bath.
Thanks for the call, John. Let's see.
No, because Lakeshore Drive's been done before. That's old. Dan Ryan. If he could do Kennedy at the junction right there, but somebody eventually, if they keep doing this, somebody is going to die.
What if they took over the Sea Dog, and then they went and they rammed into all the boats in the playground and sunk them?
Oh, in the playpen area?
Yeah. The playpen.
And just hit different boats.
Yeah, just knock all those revelers out. And
that does look like
take
a party,
off.
doesn't it? Have you ever been in there? The playpen?
I'm
sorry.
What if he put everybody in a CTA bus, and if he went under 55 miles an hour, the bus was going to blow up?
Okay, speed. I don't know. I think the biggest thing they could do is a runway at O'Hare or Midway. And I think they'd start with Midway, and then if that didn't work, then take it to O'Hare.
What if they just took over the Ferris wheel at Navy Pier? That's the #1 tourist attraction. And they wouldn't let anybody else on the Ferris wheel for the entire weekend.
It's too dangerous. We'd stop violence in Chicago. Why are you here? It's dangerous here. What could they do?
Steve in Hinsdale.
Well, what's odd is that Pfleger is the most dynamic black man in Chicago. Once the black community realizes he's white and not black, then they'll get rid of him.
Yeah.
But he's leading the black community, and they're following in his footsteps. Very sad situation. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thanks for the call, especially since he's ripped from the pages of the Archie cartoon series. Mike on North Side.
Hey, good morning. I would encourage Father Pfleger to go and take over one of the runways or the terminals. Go ahead, you loser. Because if he does, that gives Trump reason to federalize the Illinois National Guard, take it over, and then, listen, because then Chicago will lose all the graft and corruption at O'Hare and Midway Airport.
Right. Yeah, okay.
So go ahead, Pfleger, do it. And I just want to ask him one question. If crime is down like Rahm and the police superintendent said, what are they marching for? Unemployment is down, Rahm said. Everybody's working in Chicago. What do they have to complain about? Was the link cards late or something?
Oh, Mike.
All right, Mike.
Protesting gun violence.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do something novel.
Not a banner in the sky, not a...
Well, a banner in the sky. What if they did some sort of, instead of at the runway, what at the airspace level? And they did some kind of...
blocked planes from landing?
Well, they did some kind of parachutist formation.
Oh, learned how to skydive and then...
Yeah, what if they imposed...
Skydived into...
What if they got like a handful of small planes and they instituted a no-fly zone over O'Hare?
That would be...
I don't know how many pilots are in their ranks, but I'm just spitballing. Dennis in Crystal Lake.
Hey, Dan. I think if he coordinated and lifted every single bridge at the same time downtown, with people still on it, of course, and you would have a disruption second to none.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for the call. I remember when the bridges were once lifted, like they were doing construction.
Weren't they simultaneously lifted at the same time?
Yeah, it felt like they were erecting a wall to keep you in. It felt like this was East Germany.
Yeah.
What if they did that? What if they built a wall around the city or dropped a dome like they did in that Simpsons movie over the city and nobody could leave?
Oh, now you're scaring me. I'm
what about that?
Claustrophobic. Yeah, no.
Andy in Hinsdale.
You know, the left loves to dox people, so I think what would be really effective, get Pfleger and several of his crews to go camp out in front of the homes of Rahm Emanuel and all the aldermen. Emanuel is the CEO. The aldermen are all the board of this city. Get people's attention to where these guys live, because this is what they would do to someone on the right who's completely ineffective in their job. I got to tell you, I lived here my whole life. I am so tired of driving through Fallujah and the lake that Father Flakey's. I mean, he's definitely a low out there, but I like the fact that he is trying to do something, because every other leader in this city has just thrown up their hands or turned their backs on this problem. And I'm sick of 3,000 to 5,000 people getting shot every year in the city. It's a disgrace.
It is a disgrace. Thanks for the call, Andy. And yeah, it is interesting. Gosh, maybe an enterprising reporter in the Chicago Press Corps, I'm kidding, that'll never happen, but would ask Rahm a tough question about that, or Pfleger a tough question about Rahm, that is. Well, once you take it right to the mayor's doorstep, is it because you're flacking for Rahm like you did in 2015 during his reelection? Remember that, Father Pfleger?
Father Pfleger knows where he lives.
So, but I mean, are you just, is this just a minstrel show for Rahm? Is that what this is, Father Pfleger? Or are you speaking truth to power? I'm confused. It'd be interesting to get a response from him. I mean, not that anybody in the Chicago Press Corps will ask. I understand. Bob in Oswego.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, I was thinking if he wants to really sacrifice something, maybe he should have a public flogging of himself. It would be the Pfleger flogging, and then he could sell tickets to it. I would pay for it.
All right. Thanks for the call, Bob. Jeez. Yeah, flogging. A lot of violence. Mark in Glen Ellen.
Yeah, hey, Dan and Amy. I was thinking maybe Father Pfleger could actually maybe do a Bible study. Maybe that would help.
Okay, yeah. All right, thanks for the call,
Mark. He's prayed on it
Mark.
for a long time, and nothing's changing.
I don't think it's about praying. I think Mark's point is about teaching people the word so that they live lives absent violence.
The time that they spent walking 1.5 miles down the Dan Ryan, they could have cleaned up 10 parks. They could have done something for the community, painted someone's house, built a house with Habitat for Humanity. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well,
yawn.
I don't know if it was time well spent.
Ralph in Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning. Amy, they could have taken garbage bags with them and picked up the 1.5 miles of the Dan Ryan. The blocking O'Hare, I think that's a great idea. Why not, since it's always about the kids? Father Flukeworm could tie a bunch of kids to weather balloons and kind of hover them over the airspace. So you couldn't pop the balloons because then the kids would plummet down onto the tarmac.
Yeah.
So, just
it's a good
float a
idea.
bunch of kids in balloons. Yeah.
Good idea. Kids and balloons. It's good, Ralph. Thanks for the call. Paul in Lake Forest.
Hey, good morning, guys. Great topic. Just to get off the topic for 1 second, Dan, you've disagreed with me a long time about this, and I'm going to say you're right. I've been saying that Rahm is letting these guys kill each other on the south side in an attempt to get gun control, but I was corrected last night, and that he just wants them all to leave because the Chinese are buying up the south side. And I did some research, and that is true. They're buying up Bronzeville, stuff like that. Just to address your topic, I think they should march on the homes of all the absent fathers. So break off in the little groups of 2 and 3 and go to the homes of all the absent fathers, because that's what the problem is on the south side.
Yeah,
A lot of the fathers you can't find.
Thanks for the call, Paul. Yeah,
So if we know where
point
they
is,
live.
Well, the point is well taken, though, and I'm sure many of them you can find. And that would be interesting. It's a little bit of cultural shaming, probably more powerful than a politician's rhetoric or a politician pretending to be a priest. You might be onto something there.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up later, why it's good to be a furry and dress like a cow today. It has its rewards. But first, here's your forecast today. Sunshine, as you can see, and the humidity is going to lessen as the day progresses. A high of 86 degrees tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 68, and tomorrow mostly sunny, a high of 85. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is the one and only Jim Talamonte.
Amy and Dan, traffic's moving along slowly. That was bad. From on the northbound tri-state from Archer to 31st, and it's really heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the O'Hare Oasis after overnight road work cleared a bit late. Veterans Memorial, stop and go, Boughton most of the way to St. Charles, and North Avenue to 290. Eden's 25 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction. Kennedy, 42 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, quicker in the express. Eisenhower, 52 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to the drive. The Ryan, open, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Keith Peters, in for Lou Dobbs. Washington abuzz over the newest Supreme Court nominee. New job openings report due out, and global stocks on a roll. Those stories next.
How much do you spend on your pest control each year? $200, $300, or even $500 or more? What if I said you could spend less than $25 a year, even less with promo code SAVE20? Then listen up. G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free. And yes, it is possible to rid your home or business of unwanted pests for less than $25 per year. The answer is Plug-in Pest Free. Our best seller, the Plug-in Pest Free Pro, will cover up to 4,000 square feet. Now that's fair dinkum. For just a one-time cost of only $249, even less with promo code SAVE20, you'll be pest-free for years to come. Log on to gopestfree.com today. Use promo code SAVE20 and start driving those pests away. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget. Gopestfree.com. That's gopestfree.com. Promo code SAVE20.
Even as President Trump was on national TV and radio last night unveiling his second Supreme Court nominee, political supporters and opponents were jockeying for positions. Democrats and liberal activists had already lined up to oppose whoever the president named, but GOP leaders are hoping the pressure of the upcoming midterm elections will throw a monkey wrench into opponents' plans. Economic reports due out today will include the Labor Department's release of job openings and labor turnover from the month of May. With earnings reports set to be released this week by the largest banks here in the United States, global stocks hit a 2-week high Monday. The British pound sterling took a hit after more resignations over the Brexit issue. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Your kids aren't thinking about school very much at this point in summer, but it's a perfect time for you, the parent, to think about where you'll be sending your child back to school this fall. You know, more and more parents are thinking about private schools, and maybe that's you. Well, maybe private school has never been affordable, but thanks to our friends at halfpriceschools.com, you can find tuition vouchers for private schools across the Chicagoland area at half off the normal price. There's no catch. It's real simple. Go to their website, click on the tuition voucher for a school near you, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located in Westminster, Westminster Christian School in Elgin, St. Paul Lutheran School in Aurora. There's also Daystar School in Chicago South Loop. The list goes on, but don't delay. Summer will not last forever, and school will be starting again before you know it. Visit halfpriceschools.com today and make that choice. You know, many of these vouchers have already sold out, so do not wait. Visit halfpriceschools.com.
Your local 1-hour heating and air conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, a crashing economy. Are you ready? At Best, your local stores have a 3-day supply of food. Will your family have to fight over what's left? Be wise and be ready with 25-year shelf life Wise Food Storage. Try it free. Order a no-obligation free sample meal, and for a limited time, get a 10% discount and free shipping on all orders. Call for your free sample now. 800-787-1010. 800-787-1010.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga.
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea? Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former Presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants, or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
16 million people suffer from depression in this country. 6 million of them have drug-resistant depression, which means they do not find any relief. Hi, my name is Ben Klein, and I know this very well, as my oldest daughter suffers from depression, and she did not find any relief from the drugs. We found TMS therapy, and we got her the treatment, and it completely changed her life. If you're one of those 6 million people who suffer from drug-resistant depression, contact us. It can change your life too.
HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life. And it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. In a natural way, you can make real progress in the battle with depression, cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR Centers. Go to endmydepression.com. End your depression.
AM 560, The Answer.
Some breaking news. All 12 boys and their coach have been rescued from that flooded cave in Thailand.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. But quickly, if you're hungry today, everybody likes a free meal. Today's Cow Appreciation Day. So over there at Chick-fil-A, if you wear any cow costume, if you're a furry, you have a cow costume, or any cow-spotted accessory, you can get a free meal from now until 7 p.m. I'm going to wear the cow guy's jacket.
Scott the cow guy Shillady. You'll probably be behind him in line.
No, because remember he gave us those jackets. So I'm going to wear that and get a free meal.
Congratulations. This is a big day for you.
This is a very big day.
That's nice.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is Brett Kavanaugh more Thomas Scalia or more Kennedy Roberts? We'll ask Randy Barnett, Georgetown Law, at 7:07.
Yeah, because, of course, the pick is in and the battle begins. But first, let's get into the newsroom with more on this amazing rescue, all 12 boys and coaches. Here is Mike Scott.
Yeah, Fox News with the very latest on that developing story in just a moment. A Buffalo Grove man dies after falling at the Grand Canyon National Park. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. They're all finally out of that cave in Thailand. I'm Dave Anthony. All 12 boys have now been rescued. The final 4 brought out this morning along with their soccer coach. We don't know their conditions yet. They'll be taken to the same hospital where the 8 rescued the past 2 days are still under observation. Now, President Trump is in the air en route to Europe, where he'll talk to our NATO allies, still complaining they don't spend enough on the defense of their own countries.
We pay far too much, and they pay far too little. But we will work it out.
That was the president right before leaving, also boasting about his Supreme Court pick.
Brett Kavanaugh has gotten rave reviews. Rave reviews.
Right, Kavanaugh was his choice as the nominee to replace Anthony Kennedy on the court.
My judicial philosophy is straightforward. A judge must be independent and must interpret the law, not make the law.
Now, there are Democrats, though, who are calling him extremist, vowing to continue to fight this pick all the way before the process. The Republicans who support him want him on the court by October. President Trump has lost a round in court, a federal judge not allowing the Trump administration to detain illegal immigrant families together. This as they're under court order to put some families back together. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has this live.
Dave, the deadline affects about 100 kids under the age of 5, but only about half that number will actually join their parents today, according to government lawyers. More than 2,000 kids were separated from their parents. They were sent to shelters spanning the country, while those parents, many of whom were seeking asylum, were charged for illegal entry. The parents will be free while their cases go through the court system. They may have to wear ankle monitors. The deadline to reunite those kids older than 5 is July 26th. Dave.
And Tanya, President Trump a moment ago said the way to solve all this is to have people not come to the country illegally. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Sunshine and 76 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago Police Department mourning after an officer takes his own life at a far south side police station. It happened Sunday night. Authorities investigating say Brandon Kruger shot himself in the head while sitting in a squad car in the parking lot of a station near 111th and Ellis. The department's chaplain and grief counselors have been made available. A woman is dead, a man critically hurt after they stabbed each other on Chicago's south side on a CTA bus. Police say the pair were arguing on that bus when the woman pulled out a knife and stabbed that man in the shoulder. Both got off the bus. Another struggle ensued. The man took that knife and then stabbed the woman. A cracked windshield to blame for forcing a Tokyo-bound American Airlines jetliner to return to O'Hare. The aircraft, carrying 164 passengers and 13 crew at the time of the emergency landing, returned safely. Family and friends are remembering a Buffalo Grove man who died last week after falling at the Grand Canyon National Park. Andre Privin fell to his death July 3rd along the south rim of the Grand Canyon. The incident remains under investigation by the Park Service. The 2012 Buffalo Grove High School grad was set to begin a job this week as a registered nurse at Highland Park Hospital. And it's sweeping Illinois, a stomach virus. Doctors say it's a virus that runs its course within 48 hours. But symptoms will include nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, sometimes coupled with fever. To prevent its spread, doctors in Illinois are warning you to wash your hands frequently. Pablo Sandoval singles in the game winner in the 11th Giants 2-1 winners over the Cubs. White Sox and Cardinals begin a 2-game set tonight. The news, a service of Aruba Tourism. Be one happy family on one happy island. Vacation in sunny Aruba with accommodations to fit every family size and budget. Hop a daily nonstop flight from O'Hare to one happy island. Plan your happy escape to Aruba today at aruba.com. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
President Trump has announced his pick for the Supreme Court.
It is my honor and privilege to announce that I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court.
Now the spotlight shines on Brett Kavanaugh.
I will always strive to preserve the Constitution of the United States and the American rule of law.
Find out what happens next, right here on your station for Supreme Court confirmation answers. This is AM 560, The Answer.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. The Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2018 EcoSport. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 60 months at $1,667 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
7:06 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, delay started Cumberland. It is 42 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 24 from Montrose, 18 on the Express. Outbound 18 minutes to Montrose and 40 to the airport. Eden's 25 minutes, like Cook to Junction, outbound 22. Eisenhower heavy, Mannheim to the Circle, 52 minutes, 390 to downtown, 39 from Mannheim. Outbound 42 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's 50 minutes. Ryan runs 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 15. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 20 minutes. I-80 to the Verge. Northbound Lakeshore Drive, now heavy from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State. Jammed 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis, where a medical emergency blocks the right lane. And it's also very heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the O'Hare Oasis. Reagan Tollway delays from 83 to the Tri-State. Northbound Veterans Memorial from Alton to St. Charles and North Avenue to 290. Northwest Indiana's clear. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Some clouds and sunshine today, less humid for the afternoon with a high 86, then a partly cloudy night, low 68. Mostly sunny tomorrow, high 85, and a clear to partly cloudy night, low 69. Warm Thursday with clouds and sun, high 88. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 76 at O'Hare, 78 along the lakefront. Your next news update at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump made the big announcement in prime time yesterday. It's going to be Judge Brett Kavanaugh.
In keeping with President Reagan's legacy, I do not ask about a nominee's personal opinions. What matters is not a judge's political views, but whether they can set aside those views to do what the law and the Constitution require. I am pleased to say that I have found, without doubt, such a person. Tonight, it is my honor and privilege to announce that I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court.
And I think what you will learn from even a cursory review of Kavanaugh's record is that he is the rare combination of originalist philosophy, intellectual prowess, academic credentials, and then what you saw last night when he was announced, political savvy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he
combination of all of those things.
He made us like him. I mean, he was likable on a number of levels. He's philanthropic. He, feeds the homeless through Catholic charities. He's a coach. He's a great dad. His daughters genuinely seem to love their father.
It was him spinning the personal narrative for people who don't know him, which is virtually everybody outside the Beltway, and for the press, and to inform his conversation with the senators, and ultimately to inform the brutal confirmation he is going to go through with those senators. So talking about his parents, that, he may be some white bread kid from a successful professional family, but he learned some things along the way, including from his parents.
I was lucky. My mom was a teacher. In the 1960s and 70s, she taught history at two largely African-American public high schools in Washington, D.C., McKinley Tech and H.D. Woodson. Her example taught me the importance of equality for all Americans.
And then his mom was a trailblazer in the law.
One of the few women prosecutors of that time, she overcame barriers and became a trial judge. The president introduced me tonight as Judge Kavanaugh. But to me, that title will always belong to my mom.
I mean, stop it. I'm crying over here, honestly.
And then again,
it touched women's hearts.
It's
honestly.
No, I mean, and you want to know about the guy. People want to know about him. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's who he is. That's who his family is. That's great.
And he made the point that he said that, when he was in charge, he hired mostly law clerks who were women.
Right. Another kind of political sop, as was this, the invocation of another Supreme Court justice.
For the past 11 years, I've taught hundreds of students, primarily at Harvard Law School. I teach that the Constitution's separation of powers protects individual liberty. And I remain grateful to the dean who hired me, Justice Elena Kagan.
Ooh, zing. And then lastly, how he captured your vote, Senator Jacobson, was his prowess when it comes to coaching girls basketball.
For the past 7 years, I have coached my daughter's basketball teams. The girls on the team call me Coach K.
That's awesome.
See what he did there?
Yeah.
Or the
that's
girls
what they
did?
call him. I mean, and he went on to say that they won the city championship this year.
There's no question.
CYO basketball. I mean, I hope he continues to coach. You think maybe he'll be busy?
He's going to have a full docket,
well,
but
maybe the summer months he could do it.
See if he can't work it in. Maybe have some of his clerks as assistant coaches. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined again by Randy Barnett, who's a Georgetown law professor, by way of Chicago, we should add. Also the author of the book, Our Republican Constitution, Securing the Liberty and Sovereignty of We the People. Randy, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
Well, one of the things that you have said, we've talked to you about a number of justices and the run-up to the selection of the nominees before. One of the things you've said, if you were counseling presidents, is pick somebody with a record. Don't play the politician's game. Let's pick somebody who has no record so that nobody will know. Actually, pick somebody with a record so you do have an indication of what their judicial philosophy is. And President Trump did that by selecting Brett Kavanaugh, didn't he?
Yes, I think that's what gave him the edge inside the process over other very appealing and attractive judges who did not have a long judicial record or whose record of decision-making didn't really apply to cases of the kind that would reveal their judicial philosophy. So I think that is one of the things that gave him a huge edge in this process.
Some those on the left, Chuck Schumer said they have a problem with, in one of his decisions, he talked about presidents should be shielded from litigation while in office. They see that as a way of him, protecting President Trump. Do you think that is going to come up during his confirmation hearings?
Oh, sure. And that was an opinion that he gave before he was a judge, I think, actually. as I recall. He's got an the problem with a really long record like this is that you got a lot of stuff to try to learn and keep in mind, including his tenure when he worked in the Bush administration White House, his tenure when he worked for Ken Starr as this special prosecutor, and then his tenure as a judge. So there's a lot there, and there's going to be a lot of muckraking through all of that stuff, and the document review process is going to be very, very challenging for the Republicans to decide, and for the administration to have to review documents and decide what can be turned over and what's executive privileged and can't be turned over. That's going to be one of the downsides or the cost of this particular pick.
But again, going back to the upsides, you've got case law that is on point on a number of issues that are important with respect to the legislative process, important to the American people. He has held forth on Second Amendment individual right to self-protection in the Heller case and the extension of it. He has dissented from a majority opinion on the issue of immigration with respect specifically to H-1B visas. He has weighed in on religious liberty. He's weighed in to some extent on Obamacare. So there is sort of clear lines that have been drawn, also clear instances of judicial restraint, even where perhaps some conservatives would have wanted him to go further in a particular case, like the Obamacare-related case. And he didn't because he didn't believe the case was ripe for adjudication at his level. So there is a lot there for conservatives to rally around, even though he's seen as sort of an inside-the-beltway player.
Yeah, I agree with you about all those cases except what you say about his Obamacare decision, where I just, I was there and I heard oral argument in that case and heard him at oral argument in that case. And I really, really strongly disagreed with his opinion.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that that opinion, I think, is one of the reasons why he was not on the original Trump list. He was added later when they supplemented the list after the election. They added 5 judges, and he was one of them. And the thought was they added 5 judges so that he would be one of them. And I think he was not on the original list because of that Obamacare decision. It really was pretty bad. But look, he's got a very long record. You can't be judged entirely on the basis of one decision. And what's going to happen now is going to be political theater, because the Democrats have already made it clear, and their interest groups have already made it clear, that they would oppose any justice, any judge that President Trump would pick, in much the same way that the Republicans would oppose any judge that Obama picked in the last year of his presidency, which is why they didn't hold any hearings, because hearings would have been superfluous. They wouldn't have been about Merrick Garland at all. Anything that was said about Merrick Garland at such a hearing would have been a pretext. It wouldn't have been what was really going on. Now we're going to hear a lot of pretextual arguments about Brett Kavanaugh that won't be what's really going on, and what's really going on is denying Trump any additional Supreme Court justices.
Right. Now, I just want to go back to this Obamacare decision, because this is being kicked around by proponents of Kavanaugh as well as opponents of him, including the American Family Association came out and suggested conservatives oppose Kavanaugh's nomination because of that case and because they didn't feel he went far enough in the Priest for Life case. And I disagree with them on that. One of the arguments that was made in a piece in the Federalist by a former clerk of Kavanaugh's is that his dissent in the Obamacare case, the mandate case, his dissent from Judge Silberman's majority opinion was still included language that the individual mandate, Obamacare, a law that is unprecedented at the federal level in American history, jarring prospect, would usher in a significant expansion of congressional authority with no obvious principle limit. So that's not exactly a defense of Obamacare, the individual mandate. That was an argument that it should be brought in the future until it was imposed, right?
I think I read that Federalist piece. That was an unduly puffed piece about Kavanaugh's opinion. I don't think it fairly reflects what Kavanaugh was doing in that opinion.
Okay.
At that part of the opinion, Kavanaugh said that the law had, if it had any constitutional defects at all, he said under the tax power, they were relatively minor and would be quite easy for Congress to fix. Then he proposed 3 different ways that Congress could fix the law very easily to make the individual mandate a constitutional tax. He didn't say it was a constitutional tax, but he said it was very close to being a constitutional tax. He did not say it wasn't a constitutional tax. And that's actually somewhat like what Justice Roberts did.
Right.
Justice Roberts ruled that because it was unconstitutional under the Commerce Power, it could still be construed as a tax. It was a reasonable construction to construe it as a tax, and therefore it might be construed that way. That's very close to what Brett Kavanaugh did in his. It's not exactly what he did, but it's very close to what he did.
Yeah.
And then he found in the bulk of his dissent is that it was a tax for purposes of the Anti-Injunction Act. Now that's technical because courts have held that a tax could be a tax for purposes of that statute and still not be a tax for purposes of the Constitution. Ultimately, that's what the Supreme Court. It didn't exactly say that in this case, but so he didn't call it a tax for purposes of the Constitution, but he came very, very close to providing John Roberts the roadmap to the roadmap to what he actually did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a fair criticism. I mean, now Roberts made an argument that even Obama's lawyers didn't make. The federal government's lawyers didn't even make it in terms of manufacturing this into a tax. But you're suggesting that the thinking that was presented by Kavanaugh could have easily informed Roberts to take that final step.
Well, actually, I have to disagree again. I think Don Verrilli at oral argument, which is you're going to be forgiven for not knowing everything that was said in 8 hours of oral argument, Dan. But I think Don Verrilli in oral argument did try to provide Obama this out. I mean, try to provide John Roberts this out.
Wasn't he arguing the alternative though? That wasn't the first offering they made, and then it was arguing this as another possibility.
Yeah, but that's all Roberts found. Roberts said the natural reading of the statute was that it was a penalty enforcing a requirement, therefore it was a mandate, and that would be unconstitutional. He should have stopped there.
Right.
He should have said that's the natural reading of the statute. It's unconstitutional. We stopped there. But he said a reasonably possible reading of the statute is that it was a tax because the amount at issue was not coercive, and that's something else that Judge Kavanaugh did mention in oral argument in the Seven Sky case. So because it was reasonably possible he could read it that way, that's the move Roberts made. Kavanaugh did not make that move. That was not his move. But that was Roberts' move, and that's how he got out. That's how he could both say it was unconstitutional under the Commerce Power and still uphold the law.
Oh, okay. No, all right. I just wanted to elucidate because this is a huge case, and as you point out, it could have been one of the things that was initially keeping Kavanaugh off the Leonard Leo et al. List, and so this is something that he may get questions on from conservatives, even though the focus, of course, is going to be the left coming at him over Roe v. Wade and things like that.
Yeah, but he's going to have answers that'll satisfy the senators. So everything that happens now is going to be theater. Senators don't ask real questions anymore.
Right.
It's too bad they didn't figure out how to answer. They don't listen to what the answers are by and large. They're getting ready to ask their next question that staff has prepared for them. I wish that weren't the case. I've written articles about how the confirmation process can be improved by both sides, but I don't think that's going to happen this time around.
Well, what's your biggest recommendation? I mean, I know they're dog and pony shows, and I feel like the senators are just self-absorbed and want to make a name for themselves.
My biggest recommendation is they should stop asking about whether cases are right or wrong. The cases they like or the cases they hate are rightly or wrongly decided, and start asking nominees to explain to them how they understand particular clauses, what particular clauses mean in the Constitution, and that might reveal how they approach constitutional interpretation, which is what I think is a very important judicial qualification, is that their view of how to interpret the Constitution is part of your qualifications to be a judge.
Well, that's not as much fun as asking, why do you hate women, you see. So here, the other thing I want to get from you, though, is looking at this record of Kavanaugh's, I mean, do you feel comfortable making a guess as to whether he's going to be more like a Alito or Scalia or more like a Kennedy?
Look, I think all that I'm prepared to say is that he's replacing Justice Kennedy. And so his replacing Justice Kennedy, based on his record, is going to move the court in relative to where it is today, or in a originalist and textualist direction. because he is far more textualist and originalist than Justice Kennedy was, the person he's replacing. So that means overall the court will be moved in an originalist or textualist direction. Whether he ends up being more like John Roberts, which is also a possibility, or more like Justice Gorsuch, who he co-clerked with the same year at the court with Justice Kennedy. That, I think, is something that we're not going to find that out in the hearings, and we're only going to find that out once he gets on the high court.
From his record in terms of advancing originalist judicial philosophy, would you say that his holdings in cases involving the administrative state may be the best expressions of his commitment to originalism?
May or may not be a commitment to originalism. It's a commitment to what you might call the structural constitution, the separation of powers. He has a clear commitment to separation of powers, whether informed by originalism or not. He does have stuff like the Second Amendment case, the Heller 2 case, that is an originalist opinion. So I'm not saying he doesn't have any evidence of that.
Right.
But you can be informed by principles like separation of powers without being an originalist. He seems very interested and very committed to that. And I think the big draw to the White House really was his consistent harping on separation of powers and against the administrative state. That is what I think made him so appealing, that he overcame objections made against him of the kind we've already been discussing.
Okay. He is Randy Barnett, Georgetown law professor, author of the book Our Republican Constitution, Securing the Liberty and Sovereignty of We the People. Professor Barnett, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Did you know that you could drive 5 different brand new Metro Fords for less than $8 per day? Metro Ford introduces the Easy Ford Upgrade Program. It's easy, it's fast, and you could be driving the nicer, newer vehicle you deserve for less than $8 per day. Now's the time to upgrade to a new Ford Fiesta, Focus, Fusion, EcoSport, or Escape for less than $8 per day at Metro Ford. All credit is considered and no proof of income is needed. Metro Ford specializes in drivers with fixed incomes, including Social Security, disability, and retirement. Good credit, bad credit, or no credit. See Metro Ford today and drive today. Metro Ford is located at 6455 Southwestern Avenue in Chicago. Or visit Metro Ford online today at emetroford.com. Since 1984, Metro Fords are everywhere. Make the easy upgrade and put one in your driveway. emetroford.com.
You work hard to recruit the best talent for your business, so you understand how important benefits are. Today's candidates are looking for more than just insurance and retirement accounts. They want benefits they can use every day and perks that help them achieve that all-important work-life balance. With Veridesk Standing Desk Solutions, you can create the healthy office culture they're looking for, where employees can move more throughout the day, so they're happier, healthier, and more productive. The new Veridesk ProDesk 60 Electric is the perfect way to create your active workspace. It's a commercial-grade electric standing desk that lets you sit or stand with the touch of a button, and it assembles in under 5 minutes with no need for professional installers or labor costs. The ProDesk 60 Electric ships for free, and thanks to our 30-day guarantee, if you don't love it, we'll pick it up for free. To learn how you can try the ProDesk 60 Electric in your office, visit veridesk.com/radio. That's varidesk.com/radio.
Hey, it's Dan Proft. You've heard me talk about how Maxon Shooter Supplies has raised the bar for 60 years as Chicagoland's premier gun shop and indoor shooting range. Maxon offers 20 state-of-the-art indoor lanes and was the first 5-star facility to be named in Illinois, only one of 27 ranges nationwide. Visit Maxon this Saturday and celebrate their 60th anniversary, sponsored by Smith & Wesson. You'll be able to shoot a variety of Smith & Wesson firearms for only $10 and purchase raffle tickets to win a Liberty TAC 24 floor safe or a Smith & Wesson M&P pistol. Plus, range passes are buy one, get one free, and all Smith & Wesson firearms will be on sale. Limited edition 60th anniversary T-shirts will be available, and you can help Maxon raise money for USA Cares to benefit veterans and their families. Maxon Shooter Supplies is in Des Plaines, right near O'Hare. Information and directions for this Saturday's 60th anniversary can be found at maxonshooters.com.
That's Maxon, Maxon, shooters.com. Don't miss it.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. It really affected my breathing and the strength that I had. And I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back. And it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Want to earn up to 33% more in retirement income for life? How would you like to decrease your tax exposure in retirement? It's all in my new book, and it's yours free. I'm Josh Melberg, founder and CEO of JD Melberg Financial. My company has brought in over $2 billion in annuities, and to help you maximize your retirement income no matter what happens in the stock market, I'm going to give you my new book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies, for free. In plain, simple terms, I explain little-known truths about annuity strategies and unlock the 5 secrets you should know before buying an annuity. Call today, and I'll include a second book, The Number One Mistake Retirees Make When Investing in the Stock Market, and my free DVD. Call 800-528-1133. That's 800-528-1133. 800-528-1133. There's no obligation, no credit card required.
Increased income is possible using strategies suited to your goals and may require buying multiple annuities and holding them full term. Annuities may require an additional purchase for the lifetime income benefit. Guarantees rely on the claims paying ability of the insurer, not intended to provide tax advice. Producers have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, Nancy Pelosi gave an extended interview to Rolling Stone magazine in which she couldn't remember who the Senate Majority Leader is. That'd be Mitch McConnell.
She didn't remember Mitch
couldn't remember
McConnell.
his name.
Or did she just not want to say his name?
No, she couldn't remember. She had to have a staff
you know
reminder.
Honestly, that's scary.
That's actual audio from between Nancy Pelosi's ears. She also said this: "I'm really good at what I do. I'm a legislative virtuoso. I really love legislating." Somebody is rubbing off on Nancy Pelosi rhetorically, isn't he?
Yeah.
Legislative virtuoso, Nancy Pelosi. Good stuff.
All right. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
What would you do if your school strip searched your sixth grade girl over $50 at 7:37?
And later, George Clooney, it wasn't a motorcycle accident. It was a scooter accident. Oh, duh. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Clear skies, 76 degrees. All the boys and a youth soccer coach are out of a flooded cave in Thailand. Fox News has given us the latest on this developing story. We'll keep you abreast of that. Rescuers brought out the last 4 boys and their coach early this morning. President Trump announcing his pick to replace outgoing Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy.
It is my honor and privilege to announce that I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court.
And you're talking about that with Dan and Amy this morning. Meantime, the president leaving for Europe and the NATO summit. And he's complaining about defense spending by most other allies.
We're being taken advantage of by the European Union. We lost $151 billion last year on trade. And on top of that, we spend at least 70% for NATO. And frankly, it helps them a lot more than it helps us.
NATO countries have pledged to move towards spending at least 2% of their GDP on defense. Chicago Police Department is mourning after an officer took his own life at a far south side police station Sunday night. Authorities say Brandon Kruger shot himself while sitting in a squad car. The department's chaplain and grief counselors have been made available to officers who knew the Marine veteran. Family and friends are remembering a Buffalo Grove man who died last week after falling 500 feet at Grand Canyon National Park. Andre Priven fell to his death July 3rd along the south rim of the canyon. 4 Illinois stores are among 15 being closed nationwide by the popular Fresh Market Group. No closing dates have been announced, but the grocer says the closures include Lincolnshire and Glen Ellen stores, along with Peoria and Normal. Giants 2-1 winners over the Cubs in 11. Sox and Cardinals begin a 2-game series tonight. France and Belgium square off later today in the first semifinal of the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. The news is a service of Aruba Tourism. Be one happy family on one happy island. Vacation in sunny Aruba with accommodations to fit every family size and budget. Hop a daily nonstop flight from O'Hare to One Happy Island. Plan your happy escape to Aruba today at aruba.com. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager doesn't normally resort to name calling, but sometimes the shoe fits.
I hate calling people names. But it has come to the point where there are people on the left now so freely use Nazi that I think calling them an arrogant fool is somewhat mild, would you say, compared to Nazi?
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
How's your breath? If you're not using TheraBreath, it might be bad. TheraBreath is guaranteed to give you fresh breath or your money back. Available at your local drugstore. Visit TheraBreath.com for coupons and locations.
Your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea? Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park, dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants, or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The Tri-State Tollway now has heavy delays in both directions. Southbound, the jam is from Oakton to the Bentonville Bridge. Northbound from 115th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. Adams Tollway a bit tight, approaching the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway slow 83 to 294. Northbound Veterans Memorials, out to St. Charles and North Avenue to 290. Edens is 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 40 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 42. The Eisenhower, 1 hour, 390 to downtown, 47 minutes from Mannheim, outbound 52 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic, service of KHE Distributors. It's an exciting time to join the KHE team as a delivery drive. KHE offers great benefits, your safety first, highly competitive wages. Call 800-800-2175. That's 1-800-800-2175. KHE, we hire to retire. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny, seasonably warm. A little less humid this afternoon with a high right now near 86. Currently 76 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO.com. Call 773-447-5448 and get the sun out of your eyes.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
I feel like we need to add the fisticuffs piece to that to make it a little bit more like actual campuses these days.
Oh, yeah.
The Go-Go's thing is a little bit too upbeat and not reflective of reality. And, of course, as we do in our Campus Beat segment, we don't limit it to college campuses because a lot of the totalitarianism abuse happens at the K through 12 level too, and that is the case here at a middle school Lanier Middle School in Texas, where $50 went missing during the choir class's 6th grade field trip.
Ooh. Oh, and then everyone starts looking around. The old whodunit.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did more than looking around. They did more
that's
than
always
they
happen when money's missing, and then everyone thinks,
Yeah.
"Ooh, who stole from the cookie jar?"
Yeah. Well, speaking of hands in the cookie jar, not a game of Clue here. The assistant principal ordered the choir's 22 female members, 6th graders,
6th grade girls. Okay.
to report to the school nurse for strip searches. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro. Text line, you may want to
I
fire in
coached 6th grade girls. They strip searched each and every one of them.
You may want to fire in a call to your school district about their policy for searching your kids after hearing this story. 22 6th graders, members of the choir, ordered to report for strip searches. The nurse, I'm quoting from the record here, loosened their bras.
Oh, stop.
Checked around the waistband of their panties, quoting from the record, no money was found.
Did she go in everyone's pockets? I mean, that's the first thing you do before you make them take off their clothes or strip search them.
Well,
empty your pockets. What's in your purses? What's in your backpacks?
Okay. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line, if you agree with the families who filed a federal lawsuit against the school district suggesting their kids' rights, constitutional rights, had been violated. A federal judge dismissed the lawsuit, but a U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit reversed that decision last week. The reporting on this, just to understand the basis for doing anything as intrusive as this, there has to be reasonable cause before performing a search. So, yes, you don't have unfettered rights in a public school setting, but you do have some. And administrative searches by school personnel should be as non-intrusive as possible, and there has to be a reasonable belief contraband might be found. There was no. First of all, this was not illegal drugs or weapons. This was $50. Because it went missing doesn't mean it was stolen. Because it may have been stolen doesn't mean it was in any 6th grade girl's undergarments. So there's a lot of assumptions here that cut against the notion that this was anything approaching reasonable. Interestingly, despite the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals holding, the only discipline handed out for this mass violation of these girls' rights was a memo chastising the vice principal for performing a search to find something not actually considered to be contraband.
Well, so a school administrator came in to investigate. A school administrator went through their backpacks first, then they called in the school police officer, and he's the one that suggested that girls like to hide things in their bras and panties. Oh,
yeah.
And that's when the school nurse came in, and they did this in the choir bathroom.
That the school resource officer, excuse me, he's right up there with that Peterson guy down in Parkland. Not quite as severe, but that's not a school resource officer I want at my kid's school.
Yeah, girls like to hide money in their bras.
Yeah, here's a Proft parenting tip.
Oh, I love Proft parenting tips.
Oh, all right. You ready for this?
Okay. Should I write this one down?
If any adult at the school your kids goes to says girls like to hide things in their bras and panties, your girls shouldn't be going to that school.
It's time for Dan Prof's parenting tips. Whoa! Dan Prof's parenting tips. Whoa! Tell your kids to shut up and listen to him.
That's a rare twofer. You got a campus beat and you got a Prof parenting tip this morning, and there's no extra charge for that.
You know, I would actually have a hard time keeping my kid in that school. I would yank them. I'd start, wouldn't let them sing in the choir anymore.
If you, 6th grade girls, what, 12 years old, 11 years old?
10, 11, 12.
So if
Some
you
aren't wearing bras.
If you strip searched my 11-year-old over $50, I would have a hard time keeping my hands off of you.
Wow, your hypothetical children, they're 11 now, yeah.
Growing up so fast.
I know.
Dan in Libertyville.
You know, if the money was never found on those girls, then the next logical step would have been to line up any choir teacher or school official that had any contact with that money and strip search them in the auditorium for all to see.
Sure, everybody strip. What is this, a Chicago public school? Thanks for the call, Dan. Thank you very much. Paul
they
and
check their backpacks. Just have them empty out their pockets. They're not going to put it in their bras.
Paul and Elgin.
Hey, good morning. Go Hawkeyes. You know, this choir group, when they had the cash stolen, they kind of lost their harmony. All right. Have a good morning.
That was unfortunate.
I mean, they could have just even had a GoFundMe page to get $50 back. It's $50. It's not $500. That would be a felony. Anything over $300. It's $50.
Doesn't it say something about the disciplinary regime at some schools, though, like this, apparently the sex club school? How about you have kids the way I would run a school?
Yes.
If I was put in charge of a school, which probably will happen someday. Honor code. Why don't you do it like West Point? You sign an honor code, and you hold each other to an honor code. You can do that at the K through 12 level. Yeah. So the strip searches, really? It's absurd. Chip in St. Charles.
Yeah, Barack Obama advocates that they all strip down and shower together, and they would have found the money then. That's what the Democrats do.
All right, thanks for the culture. You know, girls showering with boys and the whole thing. If you self-identify as a, you know what
I just
saying.
want to know who was the $50, and somebody knows something.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe it is a teacher. Maybe it is the choir director. Or maybe it's the vice principal.
Maybe it's Colonel Mustard in the study with a
wrench.
The candelabra.
Oh, gotta go with a wrench. Or the pipe.
All right.
The revolver.
How about one more? You know, there's just like a little bit of a greatest hits here. You like to do a stop, look, and listen every year or so. And since we just had graduations,
yes,
right, commencements and so forth, the Daily Caller did a nice little thing for us for this segment. Put together some of the craziest professor tweets of this past school year. So
this is going to be good.
And the nice thing is, I'm very proud of this, we've covered all of these. But let's take a walk down memory lane, shall we? Fresno, California State Fresno professor Randa Jarrar, remember her? When First Lady Barbara Bush died?
Oh, yeah, that beast of a woman.
Barbara Bush was a generous and smart and amazing racist who, along with her husband, raised a war criminal. F out of here with your nice words. I'm happy the witch is dead. Can't wait for the rest of her family to fall to their demise the way 1.5 million Iraqis have. English professor, Professor Jarrar. Austin Community College professor Robert Ranko resigned from a position he held at a law firm after tweeting, "I'm not wishing for it, but I'd be okay if Betsy DeVos was sexually assaulted."
Okay. Dumb. You got a screw loose? What's wrong with people?
Yeah.
Go on. What else?
This was a classic one. University of Pennsylvania teaching assistant Stephanie McKellop. She always calls on white men last, black women first. I will always call on my black women students first. Other people of color get second-tier priority. White women come next, and if I have to, white men.
Oh, my gosh. See, did she get fired for that tweet?
She did not.
See, she should have been let go. Probably a tenured professor.
She's just a TA, but...
Oh, really? Oh, and they kept her on. Yeah.
And then...
That's not biased behavior. Mm-hmm.
This was a good one, too. Former Drexel professor George Maher, who subsequently left the school to become a scholar at New York University, made this remark on Twitter after the Las Vegas shooting. Mm-hmm. It's the white supremacist patriarchy, stupid, but liberals will drown out all discourse with a deafening, coarse, screeching gun control. White people and men are told that they are entitled to everything. This is what happens when they don't get what they want. The narrative of white victimization has been gradually built over the past 40 years. He also had previously said, all I want for Christmas is white genocide. Yeah. These are some of the bright lights teaching our best and brightest at institutions of higher learning, which is why we bring you Campus Beat.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Coming up next, why are the Clintons flying commercial? What does it mean? But first, here's your forecast. We're going to have plenty of sunshine, as you can see. And it will be less humid by this afternoon, a high of 86. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 68. And for Wednesday, mostly sunny skies. Another picture-perfect day, a high of 85. We're not going to see rain around here until Friday. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Any hot spots? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy and Dan in Antioch, 173 is blocked right now. Between 83 and McMillan, there's a stalled train there. Tri-State Tollway has been really heavy all morning now, and the big delays are southbound from 132 to 176 and from Oakton to the Bensonville Bridge. And northbound, it's jammed, 115th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. But Adams Tollway stop and go lead to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway slow 25 to Eola and Highland to the Tri-State. Northbound Veterans Memorial from Fountain to St. Charles and North Avenue to 290. Eden's 22 minutes, like Cook to Montrose. Kennedy 42 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown, quicker than the Express. Eisenhower an hour and 9 minutes, 390 to the Circle. Stevenson an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to the Drive. Ryan 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Well, it seems summer just got started, but it's not too soon to start thinking about the fall, at least when it comes to your child's education. Registration for fall enrollment for grades 7 to 12 is happening now at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, which is right outside of Milwaukee. It's now providing young men and women with an outstanding education and preparation for life. There's day boarding or full boarding, and it's a beautiful campus, 110 acres. It's just well run. You feel like you're on the set of a movie. St. John's Northwestern Military.
No strip searching either.
No. Military Academy immerses young men and women in a culture of leadership. It inspires personal growth through their commitment to excellence in academics, spiritual and character development, athletics, and our military traditions, shaping minds since 1882. As a mom, sending your sons there for camp, which is what I'm doing, I'm doing it because they have the values that I see and that I want my children to grow up with. To learn more about fall enrollment or to schedule a visit, or if you have any questions at all, call this number, 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET, or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal watching the changes that have happened and how much healthier and how much more energy that they have. I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who've been taking the product. The thing that amazes me with it is that it's so simple.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Your daughter's wedding is one of the proudest moments of your life, a moment you and your family will treasure for the rest of your lives. As the months of planning start to unfold and you get closer to the special day, things can get a bit hectic. So many important details. To capture these once-in-a-lifetime memories and not have to worry about anything but the celebration, trust Artland Photography for every precious moment. At Artland Photography, it's all about you. No matter what your style, their photographers have the skill and experience to capture the moments quickly and stay out of the way. They'll make it easy to enjoy all of the smiles, laughter, and tears to enjoy for generations. Visit them at artland.com, where you can see their amazing work and outstanding reviews for yourself. Plus, learn about a special limited-time offer. You'll know why Artland Photography has been Wedding Wire's couple's choice for the last 5 years. They also shoot everything from major corporate events to business and family portraits. Visit artland.com. It's all about you.
You've heard us say if your roof is needy,
Call Crumweedy.
Also, if your gutters, siding, windows, or entry door is needy,
Call Crumweedy.
What's that all about?
This is Mark Olson
and Greg Olson, the boys from Crumweedy.
We created a special deal just for you.
replace your roof and receive free gutters. Or replace the siding or windows on your home and receive a free entry door.
We'll do a great job, and you'll get the crumb-witty promise of installation that is up to manufacturer specifications, so your warranty is intact.
And get free gutters or an entry door as a thank you. Some restrictions apply, and this special won't last long.
We fix roof, siding, and window problems. We're here. We're a third-generation family business that was built on the same conservative values as you. If your home is needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know. The credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people, they're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020. That's 800-518-4020.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Check it out, greatparkinglots.com.
Go to greatparkinglots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Special early season discounts if you act now. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of greatparkinglots.com. greatparkinglots.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Do we have this Baldwin thing straight now? Bieber is marrying a Baldwin, but it's not Alec Baldwin's daughter, it's Stephen Baldwin's daughter.
Right, Haley Baldwin. They just started dating, and all of a sudden they're engaged.
And
Justin Bieber, it looks like he's transitioning. What is he doing?
He looks like a character from Zoolander or something, like he's some kind of androgynous model or something. He's got that weird Johnny Depp porn stash too.
Yeah, it's not a good look. And then tattoos all over his arms. Ah.
Wow, the Biebs. Updating this story.
As long as he's happy. Sorry.
That's true.
Honestly.
His happiness is the most important thing.
And I'm pulling for this young couple. I think they're going to make it.
I think they're going to make it 6 to 8 months.
They have the blessing. 6 to 8 months.
At least. Maybe, 10.
Oh.
Is this Haley Baldwin?
No, it's Justin Bieber.
Oh. I can't really tell them apart, actually, because I think the one with long hair is taller. Which one is that? I want to update this story because we're going to track this. The Jim Jordan story, allegations that he knew about abuse of Ohio State wrestlers while he was an assistant coach and did nothing. 6 former Ohio State University wrestling coaches offering support to Jordan. A letter signed by the head coach at the time, Russ Hellickson, and 5 assistant coaches said, "We all worked on the wrestling coaching staff during Jim's tenure at the Ohio State University. None of us saw or heard of abuse of OSU wrestlers. The well-being of student athletes was all of our concern. If we had heard any of the abuse, we would have spoken up," because a couple of former wrestlers have accused Jordan of turning a blind eye. So this story continues.
That's great. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to pick up our discussion about Trump's nominee, Judge Brett Kavanaugh, with John Malcolm from the Heritage Foundation, who saw Kavanaugh coming a couple of years ago. He was ahead of the learning curve.
But first, let's go into the newsroom, check in with news from here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
Local lawmakers react to the Supreme Court nomination pick. Mayor Emanuel discusses his trip to China. Doctors seeing an extremely contagious stomach virus hit the state of Illinois. White Sox will host the Cards while the Giants clip the Cubs in 11. Turning sunny and seasonably warm today, less humid this afternoon. We will top out at 86 with a low of 68 overnight. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. The 12 boys and their coach trapped in that cave in Thailand have all gotten out alive. I'm Dave Anthony.
There's just a huge sense of relief here in northern Thailand when we hear about this team finally all getting to safety.
Fox's Jeff Paul outside the hospital where the 5 rescued today will join the 8 who already got out, ending a more than 2-week ordeal. President Trump just tweeted his congratulations, calling it such a beautiful thing. He sent that from Air Force One as he flies to Europe for a NATO summit. He said just before leaving,
"It's certainly going to be an interesting time with NATO."
Interesting because he keeps calling it unfair. The U.S. spends more on defense than our allies. The president's also boasting his pick for Supreme Court is getting rave reviews, though mostly from Republicans.
My body, my choice.
Protesters rallied outside the Supreme Court fearing abortion rights could be rolled back.
This is a tough fight, but it is a fight that we can win.
Senator Bernie Sanders and Democrats hope to convince moderate Republicans to block Brett Kavanaugh. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Judge Kavanaugh will be up on Capitol Hill today meeting with leaders in the Senate who will ultimately vote on his nomination to the High Court. Kavanaugh laid out his judicial philosophy last night in the East Room.
And a judge must interpret the Constitution as written, informed by history and tradition and precedent.
Top Senate Democrats, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, have vowed to fight Kavanaugh, citing what they called an anti-abortion record. Dave?
Now, John, the president also, before leaving, was asked about the immigration family separation controversy.
Well, I have a solution. Tell people not to come to our country illegally.
This has his administration's under court order and plans to reunite more than 50 children under 5 years old separated from parents as they came across the border, but they won't be able to meet today's deadline for dozens of other children. Fox News, fair and balanced.
76 degrees and sunshine at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. A man is dead, or a woman is dead, and a man critically hurt after they stabbed each other on Chicago's South Side. Police tell us this morning the pair were arguing overnight on a CTA bus on East 63rd when the woman pulled a knife and stabbed that man in the shoulder. They both got off the bus, and then a struggle ensued before the man took that knife and began stabbing the woman. Authorities revealing new information about that 3-year-old boy who died in a fire over the weekend on Chicago's South Side. Maquan Jones was killed in the Sunday blaze that damaged a 3-story building. Fire officials say the boy was apparently left inside of a locked apartment by a woman who did not realize that he was home. Mayor Emanuel hoping a visit to China will help protect a major CTA deal from the Trump administration's growing tariff dispute with China. A mayor and a delegation of city and business leaders left for Asia yesterday. Illinois U.S. senators reacting to the president's nomination of Brett Kavanaugh. Tammy Duckworth saying if Kavanaugh hopes to earn her support, he must make it clear that he would be an independent. Meantime, Senate Democrat Whip Dick Durbin says it's his opinion that Kavanaugh is a judge who consistently favors big business. Chicago sports. Giants over the Cubs, 2-1 in 11 innings, while the White Sox beat the Cardinals The White Sox and Cardinals begin a 2-game series at Guaranteed Rate Field tonight. Dylan Covey will toe the rubber for the Sox. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Americans weren't drinking as much Pepsi in the spring quarter. PepsiCo's beverage sales declined, though its Frito-Lay snack business improved, and its quarter was better than expected. Audi will be working with China's Huawei Technologies. The two companies will develop automated and connected cars. The agreement follows a meeting between German Chancellor Angela Merkel and Chinese officials in Berlin. Amazon is stepping up its Prime Day promotions before it launches on July 16th. Amazon says Prime members who shop at Whole Foods from Wednesday through next Tuesday will receive a $10 credit on Amazon for Prime Day. Amazon Prime card holders will receive double rewards if they shop at Whole Foods. The Dow was up 320 yesterday. The Nasdaq gained 67, S&P up 24. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
It's 8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
As press secretary for President Trump, Sean Spicer had a front row seat to history. And in his new book, he reveals details about what really happened behind the scenes during the campaign and the early days of the administration. On Wednesday, August 8th, Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago. Meet Sean Spicer and get a copy of his new book, The Briefing, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Tickets are absolutely free. Thanks to healthinsurancementors.com. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. The Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 72 months plus $1,000 Ford credit bonus cash on a great lineup of Ford SUVs. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $1,389 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Not available on Expedition. For all offers, take new retail delivery from authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
It is 8:06. Let's get an update on the morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. South Shoreline officials tell us they're having some technical difficulties with the South Shore app this morning. Right now, passengers can't purchase or activate tickets on that app. Working on that, you can get tickets at the station on the train. The Edens eastbound has light delays. Foster to Montrose, 22 minutes. Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound 30. Kennedy, 48 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 38 from Montrose, 35 on the express. Outbound 58 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour and 9 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound 52 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 42 minutes. Ryan is 35 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tollways are all heavy. Traffic service of Aruba Tourism. Imagine if your daily commute was from your beach chair right to the crystal blue Caribbean Sea. It's time for an escape to sunny Aruba. Hop a daily nonstop flight from O'Hare to One Happy Island. Plan your Aruba vacation today at aruba.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Seasonally warm today with some clouds, then sunshine. Less humid for the afternoon with a high today 86. Partly cloudy for the night, low 68. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high getting up to 85. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
77 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, with the nomination of Judge Brett Kavanaugh, the pro-abort left is in full lather. You had the PHAD posse, the Women's March organizers, yesterday, in their customary thoughtful fashion, issue a cut-and-paste press release before the nominee was announced that had an X marks the spot to just insert the name once it was announced. They don't care.
Well, they had a protest, too, at the steps of the Supreme Court, and literally the protesters were seen writing in Kavanaugh's name once they heard the word.
Yeah, it could have been any name.
Right.
Yeah. So is that going to be enough to energize women in the midterms? Does that present a real problem for Trump and Republicans? There's some new polling evidence that it does, even as, by the way, the two key Republican female senators on the confirmation, Murkowski and Collins, both voted for Alito, by the way.
Right.
Even though Judge Alito said during his confirmation hearing that Roe v. Wade was not settled law.
Okay.
So
they both voted for Gorsuch.
Doug Jones, the Democrat who beat Roy Moore, the current senator from Alabama, he said he's open-minded on the topic. So you could have some red state Democrats crossover as well. I think Kavanaugh is going to present very much like Alito. He is non-threatening. He is politically savvy. He is professional. He is sharp. He understands what this process is.
And
he's going to do well, and he's going to get confirmed.
And he loves his wife.
We met in 2001 when we both worked in the White House. Our first date was on September 10th, 2001. The next morning, I was a few steps behind her as the Secret Service shouted at all of us to sprint out the front gates of the White House because there was an inbound plane. In the difficult weeks that followed, Ashley was a source of strength for President Bush and for everyone in this building. Through bad days and so many better days since then, she has been a great wife and an inspiring mom. I thank God every day for my family.
Yeah.
I mean, you had me at hello.
I think, literally,
I was in tears yesterday.
It was a very Mayberry performance, and I'm not saying it's not authentic. That could very well be who he is. It came across as authentic, but it's also politically savvy, and the two things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. There is an issue with the Republican Party and women. There has been for a long time. The Center for Women in American Politics at Rutgers notes that the gender gap in every presidential election since 1980, there has been one since 1980. The gap in 2016, 11 points, was the largest gap dating back to 1980, but there have been other instances where it was 10 or 11 points. So that was not unusual, and one of the reasons Trump won was because it was not unusual, right? He lost women by a much narrower margin than was anticipated through much of the election cycle. Well, so updating that, the polling demographics, or the polling on the female demographic, it's pretty interesting because this does provide some instruction going into, we're basically 5 months from Election Day.
Yeah.
The president's approval rating is 54 among men is 54-45 positive. Among women, this is all. Washington Post SCAR school poll. 54-45 among men. Women, 32-65. I mean, that's a 45-point difference between men and women in this country. Trump's approval rating among self-identified Republicans, 91 among men, 82 among women. But the gap in intensity is what's important because intensity, particularly in the midterm, gives you some indication of turnout. 68% of male Republicans say they strongly approve of the way Trump is handling his job, but just 31% of female Republicans say the same. 37-point spread. So 82% of women, Republican women, say, approve of what he's doing. Obviously, an overwhelming majority. But only 31% are enthusiastic about it. That's important when it comes to turnout. On his handling of the economy across the population, 6 in 10 men give him positive marks, fewer than 4 in 10 women do. Among Republicans, there's a 27-point difference between men and women in the intensity expressed in the way president is dealing with the economy. Same thing on immigration. Most men across the spectrum trust Trump over Democrats to handle immigration, but women feel the opposite, 41-19. By almost 2-1, men trust Trump more than Democrats to deal with border security. Among women, it's almost evenly split. So there is a real substantial disconnect, even within self-identified Republican women, on the score of intensity. And midterms, and frankly, elections more and more so in this polarized atmosphere, are base plus exercises. Turn out your base. If you cannot turn out your base, you cannot win. The interesting thing, too, is right now, just in terms of midterms, thinking about this, in 2016, 63% of eligible women, 59% of eligible men voted. That's 10 million more women casting ballots. The pattern in midterms is similar, but the differences have been smaller, about 5 to 6 million more women than men as compared to 10 million in the general. Asked about the importance of voting this fall, 77% of women, 74% of men say it's extremely or very important. But most motivated today, 54% of men say voting this year is extremely important, while women, it's 39%. So the most motivated, there's a 15-point spread for men, which probably benefits Republicans at present. So there's a couple of things here. One is Republicans need to do a better job of persuading women, generally speaking. That's a fact. Number two is you have this opportunity for Republicans through base plus strategies and tactics, but also this danger if the Democrats are able to do the same with a base that is not as motivated as they would like it to be, at least the female portion of the base, and can Roe v. Wade be the way to trigger more women to come out, more women to feel like this is important. It seems like Democrats have been looking for that issue to really light their base on fire, and they've tried a couple, and the Kavanaugh confirmation fight is going to come and go. Can they keep the fervor over Roe v. Wade up even after Kavanaugh is confirmed? I think that's an open question on an issue that evenly divides the public.
Well, do you think Roe versus Wade is going to be overturned? Do you think same-sex marriage will remain in America? Because people ask me that all the time.
I think it's possible that both could be overturned, especially with respect to an open question as to who is the next justice to retire or pass away, and then who would have that appointment to nominate somebody. So if
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she's 85. Granted, she's in better
like
shape than you and I. But that's all right. Well,
no, she's not.
She does her burpees.
I don't fall asleep during the State of the Union address.
That's true. But she, she's 85. That enough said. So if she goes, I think he'd replace her with Amy Barrett.
Well, he replaced her with somebody from the list, so you would have
Right.
another conservative justice, and then you'd really have a working supermajority on the court. Roe v. Wade is bad law. I agree with Meghan McArdle, self-identifies as pro-choice. The piece I referenced, she wrote in the Washington Post last week about let Roe go. It's terrible law. There's no constitutional basis for it. It should be overturned. Based on the Constitution, it should be overturned. And then it's left to the states.
Right. And then Illinois would become the abortion capital of the world. They'd have vacation packages where, hey, stay on the Mag Mile, get your abortion, and then go eat at TGI or whatever restaurant you want.
We basically have that now. We don't need Roe v. Wade to be the law of the land to have that now in Illinois, thanks to Governor Rauner and Planned Parenthood. That tandem has brought that to Illinois anyway. But again, it's worth noting all of these sexual revolution cases or sexual revolution regressions, I would argue, advances, they would argue, have occurred through the courts, not through legislative bodies. They couldn't do it through the legislative process. They had to do it through the courts. when it was referendums to redefine marriage, they lost the first 32 of them, 33 of them. So you move back to legislating on these matters. This is the province of the legislative branch, not the judicial branch, making law from the bench, writing op-eds from the bench, masquerading as judicial interpretations the way McCarthy did in the Obergefell decision, the way that Blackmun did in the Roe v. Wade decision. So could those cases be overturned? Yeah, sure. Guess what? Plessy v. Ferguson was overturned by Brown versus Board of Education. Dred Scott was overturned. Bad law should be overturned. So what? And then you, something that is properly in the province of the legislative branch is determined by state legislatures in the 50 laboratories of democracy. What's so hysterical about that? If the law in California or Illinois or New York will be different than the law in Utah or Louisiana or Florida, so what? Whoever has the best model is probably going to attract the most people. That's what's happening now. Why are certain cases, particularly cases that are without constitutional foundation, held sacrosanct, such that people are, hysterical? People are so hysterical. Shannon Bream couldn't do her show outside the steps of the Supreme Court because she didn't feel safe yesterday.
Really?
Did you see that? Very few times I felt threatened while on the field. The mood here tonight is very volatile. Law enforcement appears to be closing down First Street in front of SCOTUS. So she went back into the studio to do her show because she didn't feel safe. I felt threatened while out in the field. The mood here tonight, very volatile, said Shannon Bream, who's, no shrieking violet. So you're going to have the hysterics, but that doesn't necessarily translate into motivating people who don't live and breathe and die. Those people are not a part of the professional protester class out to vote in November. And that's how the balance of power in the legislative branch, and then by extension, what Trump is able to do the last 2 years of his first term from the executive branch and including judicial appointments, that's how that will be determined. So it's very important. The question is, who's motivated and by what? Mark in Des Plaines, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, you guys. Really good stuff you're talking about, Dan. And Amy, your question, is my question. How is this guy going to vote? That's my question. Kennedy was a disappointment on, because he kept flip-flopping between both sides, and I just don't want, this guy to be like that. I want him to be strong on things like, Obamacare and like certainly abortion, but these things are and absolutely gay marriage. It's ridiculous that we have that we're not centered on the family, in the way law, and mostly important, centered on the Constitution itself. That's the most important. Interpret the Constitution the way it's written. Don't write law.
Thanks for the call, Mark. Sean in Elmwood Park.
As I'm watching this process, Prof, one thing I see is that it's steady as it goes. I have never seen such a process where Republicans are guaranteeing socialists, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. I mean, I like the guy. He sounds like a wonderful guy when he was talking about, doesn't he? He sounds like a great guy. But what this shows you is I don't care anymore. After Roberts rewrote the law, how a fat judge in a little robe, Kagan's going to vote on every issue, not to mention Sotomayor. You've got just the socialists against the pretend not to be socialists. I'll tell you the truth. I've lost absolute faith. And to me, the Supreme Court, they're a spittoon to me. I don't care what they decide about anything.
Oh,
and as far as
that makes no sense. And it's also
why
just
does it make sense? I've decided to reject society.
Well, okay, fine. Well, now
Sean doesn't like anything.
Sean's rejecting society after society's rejected him. I'm just saying that the Supreme.
Pull out on North Avenue just now. Pull out on North Avenue. Here's a scumbag smoking a joint. Is she covered in my insurance pool? Are the Supremes going to make sure? Are they going to make sure we're all covered? And as far as these justices, you got a conservative. What did he vote for? He's going to uphold Obamacare, and don't worry, you can kill your baby without repercussion.
Thanks for the call, Sean. That's not Kavanaugh's position in either case, but I appreciate that you're just kind of cursing the darkness. So we've got a lot of cases that that Judge Kavanaugh has weighed in on, both for the majority opinions as well as in dissents. And when it comes to Second Amendment rights, when it comes to immigration policy, when it comes to the administrative state, we were discussing this with Georgetown Law Professor Randy Barnett at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. We'll discuss it with John Malcolm at the bottom of this hour. You have somebody who is, as Barnett described, committed to the separation of powers. That's a good thing. Committed to judicial restraint. That's a good thing. There's a hefty amount of cases that suggest he is committed to an originalist judicial philosophy. He invoked that during his introduction yesterday after the president introduced him as his nominee. So, I mean, you can just say that everybody's the same in spite of all the evidence if you want, and just decry everything equally if you want. But I don't know what purpose that serves. Number one, the Supreme Court is not going away. The Supreme Court is going to be impactful on the law of the land in America, the laws under which we live, and the social mores those laws reflect. So it seems to me this is something where you'd want to get engaged, and get engaged in a thoughtful way, not like the P-Hat posse on the one side or Sean from Elmwood Park on the other.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
If you did not purchase health insurance coverage during the 2017 open enrollment, I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time during the year. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other health insurance carriers. If you are between the ages of 19 and 64, you are automatically paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. If you are a non-smoking 50-year-old male or female living in the city of Chicago, the monthly premium rate for a 100% tax-deductible health savings account PPO plan would be $590 per month. But I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity benefit and lower your monthly premiums down to approximately $240 per month. To see if you qualify or for more information, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
The following is a paid announcement.
Well, I'm very excited to be here today with none other than the creator, founder, and president of Balance of Nature, Dr. Douglas Howard. He's here with his wife, Susie. Dr. Howard, an American physician, medical researcher, international speaker, educator specializing in phytonutrition and its application in daily living. He's also the host of Balance of Nature Radio, heard weekends right here on AM 560. Dr. Howard, Susie, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's great to be here. Thanks.
So your slogan is pure and simple: real science, real food, real nutrition. Why should I take Balance of Nature? Why should I be giving it to my young teenage sons?
There's a lot of reasons. People take vitamins, right? And the reason why is because we know that our diet is substandard. People don't eat fruits and vegetables. That is where phytonutrients are found, is in fruits and vegetables. And if every day you were sitting down and eating a big salad that had a variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in it, all of them organic and tested to be sure that they were nutritionally sound and free of bacteria and all of that, you sat down and ate that every single day in an amount that equaled 10 servings. Do you think you'd need vitamins anymore?
No.
You wouldn't, because they would all be there.
You know what the national average of a young person, of how many servings of fruits and vegetables they're eating a day?
Average, maybe 1.
Between 1 and 3. And you need over 10 to get that chemistry of those hundreds of thousands of chemicals we were talking about that work on your cells, and it's awesome when they do. And so that's what Balance of Nature does, is it makes those cells to function. These are kids that their cells are dividing quickly, and we want them to divide perfectly so they don't set up for disease later on in life. Because most diseases we see as physicians, they were set up years prior. They didn't happen yesterday. Mm-hmm. And so that's why it's so important. The younger you start, the better it is.
How can AM 560 listeners order fruits and veggies today?
Go to balanceofnature.com. That's the one easy way. The other way is call 1-800-2468-751.
They're not just operators standing by, they're actual health coaches, correct?
That's exactly right. Is we don't farm this out. You're going to get somebody that actually knows what they're talking about. And they're not going to try and sell you something you don't need. I'll guarantee you that. When you purchase Balance of Nature, we don't just ship it out to you and say, good luck. You also get a free health coach. They're not a salesperson. They are a health coach to help you get the results you're looking for, to let you know if they're realistic goals that you're looking for. And they look at different aspects of your health, not just the chemical side, but they'll look at the physical side and the mental, emotional, spiritual side. It's all one wrapped in together.
Dr. Douglas Howard and Susie Howard, thank you for joining us. And again, Balance of Nature, call 1-800-246-8751 and make sure to use the promo code Chicago. That's very important. Use promo code Chicago. And the website again?
Is balanceofnature.com.
Very easy, balanceofnature.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your business is moving fast. It has to. Competition is stronger than ever. You've got a lot to deal with to keep your business moving forward. But there are some things you should delegate to others. It's the only way to concentrate on what you do best and for your business to thrive. What Turnkey IT does best is take care of every aspect of your computer and IT systems. When you go all in, they become a partner in your business's success. Your staff doesn't have time or the resources to keep up on the latest computer and software upgrades, potential threats, or know when it's time to upgrade equipment. That's what Turnkey IT's all-in small business package is for. You get world-class help desk, on-site and remote support, monitoring of network resources, 365 hosting, cloud backup, antivirus, and more. Plus, new hardware every 4 years. Whether your business is 1 person or 200, keep it moving in the fast lane. Go all in with Turnkey IT by your side.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we're going to get serious, but Dan Proft, you're not following me on Twitter, and I've lost Twitter followers because of you. So you'll maybe get a chance to explain yourself.
I want to know who you've lost because of me. I want
Karen Lewis.
I want their Twitter. Oh, yeah, she's blocked me.
Well, I lost her, and then she blocked me. It's
tough.
a double whammy.
The things that you do, what you must sacrifice to me by a broadcast partner, it's there's nothing short of heroic, really. Mm-hmm. Coming up at 8:38, Amy's heroism will continue when we visit with John Malcolm, VP of the Heritage Foundation, the director of the Meese Center for Legal and Judicial Studies there. Ed Meese was at the announcement yesterday. It was good to see General Ed Meese. We'll talk to John Malcolm. Also, Michelle Wolf's salute to abortion, her Independence Day salute to abortion, comedian Michelle Wolf at 8:38. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Sunshine and 78 degrees. And good news coming out of Thailand this morning as the boys' soccer team trapped in a flooded cave in that country along with their coach have all been rescued. The 12 boys and their coach trapped by rising waters as they entered the cave on June 23rd. Officials initially believed the rescue could take months, but dropping oxygen levels and more heavy rain in the forecast forced them to act quickly. President Trump's choice for the U.S. Supreme Court calls himself an independent, says laws and the Constitution should be judged as written.
Justice Kennedy devoted his career to securing liberty. I am deeply honored to be nominated to fill his seat on the Supreme Court.
That's 53-year-old Brett Kavanaugh, who would replace the retiring Justice Anthony Kennedy. European Council President Donald Tusk has a special message for President Donald Trump. Quit bad-mouthing NATO allies. He had that and much more to say today as NATO signed a new joint declaration of cooperation with the EU.
Yeah, America, appreciate your allies. After all, you don't have that many.
The president is on his way to Brussels for a NATO summit after days of criticizing allies for their low military spending levels. Here in Chicago, a woman is dead, a man critically hurt after they stabbed each other on a CTA bus on Chicago's South Side. Family and friends are remembering a Buffalo Grove man who died last week after falling 500 feet at Grand Canyon National Park. Andre Privin fell to his death July 3rd. And there is a stomach virus sweeping the state, extremely contagious. Symptoms include sudden onsets of nausea and diarrhea. Doctors say the virus usually runs its course within 48 hours, but maybe longer. To help prevent spread, wash your hands frequently. Pablo Sandoval gets the game-winning RBI single in the 11th. Giants 2-1 winners over the Cubs, Sox, and Cardinals on the south side tonight. The news, a service of KeHE Distributors. It's an exciting time to join the KeHE team as a delivery driver. KeHE offers great benefits, your safety first, and highly competitive wages. Call 800-800-2175. 800-800-2175. KeHE, we hire to retire. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
As press secretary for President Trump, Sean Spicer had a front row seat to history. And in his new book, he reveals details about what really happened behind the scenes during the campaign and the early days of the administration. On Wednesday, August 8th, Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago. Meet Sean Spicer and get a copy of his new book, The Briefing, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Tickets are absolutely free. Thanks to healthinsurancementors.com. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing.
Pursue your passion with a degree from Aurora University Online. Choose fully online programs in business, computer science, and more. To learn more, visit online.aurora.edu.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
8:36. Get an update on that ride to work this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. With the very latest, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy. Inbound delays are from Lawrence to the Burn Circle. It is an hour from O'Hare to downtown, 50 minutes from Montrose, 35 in the Express. Outbound 36 minutes to Montrose, 52 to the airport. Edens runs 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound it's 30. Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes, 390 to downtown, 50 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 50 to Manheim, an hour 10 to 390. Stevenson is an hour and 7 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 438. Southbound Tri-State still 120 to 176. Very heavy Oakton to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound from Southwest Highway to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. Reagan Tollway delays are from 83 to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial slow southbound Lake to Roosevelt. Northbound out to St. Charles and North Avenue to 290. 53 has southbound delays, Randy Kirchhoff. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny, warm, a little less humid this afternoon, and a high of 86. Currently 80. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. The pick is in. What does it mean? We'll talk about that when Freedom returns at 5.
Dan and Amy, the accusations about how I've cost you Twitter followers, let me just say that, number one, those aren't followers you wanted if they've unfollowed you because of me.
Or blocked me. But you're not even following. Okay, sorry.
Well, I mean, number two, Desmond Clark.
Yes.
Professional athlete.
former Chicago Bear, who you got to golf with at our tournament.
Bears tight end, great.
Yeah,
Played 12 years in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I've gained 2,000 followers by Dan Proft following me. Just two world-class athletes connecting. That's right. The Good Hands team, two world-class athletes, me and Desmond Clark.
Uh-huh.
And, the two of us together, the sum,
Yes.
or the whole, I should say, greater than the sum of the two parts and the four hands.
Okay.
All right?
Are you following me on Twitter yet?
I don't know if I...
Will you get to it later today, please?
Yeah, I'll work on that.
I can't believe it.
I'll work on
After
that.
all these years? It's so rude. I thought we were friends.
I never followed Bruce Wolf either, and he was very upset about that because I can only take so much tedium in 4 hours.
I don't think we spent enough time together.
All right, so now we turn our sights to the nominee for the Supreme Court, Brett Kavanaugh. By the way, over the weekend, the holiday weekend, Michelle Wolf, this ghastly comedian who did the White House Correspondents' Dinner,
yeah.
and then she, kind of made fun of Sarah Sanders.
Oh, she bombed. She was embarrassing. Yeah.
I've never really seen her before, but she's got a show on Netflix.
Yeah.
And here's what she did. By the way, what you're about to hear is only about 15 degrees less than the shrillness you will hear from Democrat senators during the confirmation hearings for Brett Kavanaugh. Listen to Michelle Wolf celebrating Independence Day with a salute to abortion.
So tonight, in honor of America, I'd like to do a salute to abortion in the Break's 10th annual Salute to Abortion.
Just like Uncle
supposed
Sam.
to be funny?
Yeah.
Does she have pictures of fetuses?
Abortion, I salute you! Women, if you need an abortion, get one! If you want an abortion, get one! If you're not pregnant but you think you eventually might be and want to order a future abortion, get one! If you're pregnant and you want to be pregnant, don't get one! It's up to you, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. It's actually a great deal. It's about $300. That's like 6 movie tickets. Movie tickets, a bad deal. And women, don't forget, you have the power to give life, and men will try to control that. Don't let them! God bless abortions, and God bless America!
Yeah, that's where the left is. That's where the P-hats are. That's what you're going to hear from the protesters in the streets that are organizing at present to protest Brett Kavanaugh as the next Supreme Court justice. That's what you're going to hear. I mean, seriously, you're going to hear a version of that in muted terms from Di-Fi and others because you've heard it already from them. Dick Durbin and the like. So as well as Brett Kavanaugh presented yesterday, and as robust and as much as robust as his record is, as much intellectual heft as he brings to the table, don't think that this is going to be anything other than this awful screeching that you hear on shows like Michelle Wolf's and every show on MSNBC. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by John Malcolm. He's the vice president of the Heritage Foundation, the Institute for Constitutional Government, director of the Meese Center for Legal and Judicial Studies, and a senior legal fellow. John Malcolm was in the audience yesterday, as was the namesake for the Legal and Judicial Studies program there, Ed Meese. It was great to see Ed Meese up and around and able to attend. John Malcolm, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm left a bit speechless by that lead-in, but I'm delighted to be with you.
Yeah, well, these are somewhat speechless times. You've got Refuse Fascism organizing protests around the country against a guy they just heard of yesterday at 8 o'clock Central Time. So strange times we're living in. But give us your perspective on Kavanaugh, because you wrote about this a couple of years ago at the Daily Signal, one of the Heritage Foundation publications, about the next Supreme Court justice, and featured Kavanaugh prominently for consideration by President Trump.
Yeah, so about a month after Justice Scalia died, I wrote this article for the Daily Signal saying, look, whoever the next president is, here is a non-exclusive list of 8 people who I think would be superb Supreme Court justices. 7 of the names of my 8 made it onto the president's list, and he was kind enough to credit Heritage Foundation, along with other groups like the Federalist Society, for informing his thinking, and Brett Kavanaugh was on my list. I think the world of Brett Kavanaugh. He has a very distinguished record. Yale Law School, clerk for Anthony Kennedy, served under Ken Starr in the Office of Independent Counsel, partner in a prestigious Washington firm, 5 years a senior advisor to President George W. Bush in the White House, and for the last 12 years, he has been a stellar judge on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, which is usually considered the second most powerful court in the land. He's issued over 300 opinions on a variety of areas. He's an incisive thinker and an excellent writer, very reasoned, and has an approach to judging that I admire. He's an originalist. He's a textualist. He believes in separation of powers. He is skeptical of what's referred to as Chevron deference, which is the extreme deference that courts give to executive branch agencies when they're interpreting arguably ambiguous laws. I think he's a full package, and it's going to be a very contentious confirmation hearing, as you could just tell. But I think at the end of the day, he will get confirmed, and the country will be better off for it.
And don't you think he did a good job of introducing himself to the American people and basically selling himself? I mean, he just said the truth. He's philanthropic. He delivers meals to homeless people through Catholic charities. He's involved in his kids' basketball coaching. Do you think he scored points with the people last night?
Yeah, look, so, I do know Brett Kavanaugh a little bit. He's got a lovely family. He's a very friendly, humble guy, and I think the American people got a glimpse of that last night, and they're going to see more of that in the days ahead. He's going to be virulently attacked during his confirmation hearings, as Neil Gorsuch was, but I think he will, he's used to that kind of heat, particularly from his 5 years in the Bush White House, and I think he'll hold up beautifully.
And with respect to the selection of Kavanaugh over some other highly decorated, qualified contenders, a lot is made of that he's got a substantial record, so he's a bit of more of a known quantity than maybe some of the other choices. The other thing, it seems to me, though, picking on what Amy was talking about, his introduction to the American public last night, political savvy. He's been around. He's been inside the Beltway. He understands the process, and he'll do a pretty good job being his own navigator through it.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I mean, he is highly regarded by judges from all around the country of all political stripes. Akhil Amar, who's a very liberal and well-known law professor at Yale, has an article, I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard about it, in the New York Times today that says, look, politically I couldn't be more different than Brett Kavanaugh, but he's clearly qualified and will do an outstanding job on the Supreme Court. So, yeah, he's a very savvy individual, but he's also a very humble and friendly individual, and that's going to come through.
Now, there's a couple of cases, though, looking at his history, his professional record, that conservatives have taken issue with, and they were batted around before he was leveled up as the choice from President Trump. And we did that earlier in the show with Randy Barnett from Georgetown Law. One is an Obamacare-related case, and Barnett takes the position that some who have been critical of Kavanaugh in that case specifically, that he really did provide essentially the roadmap for Roberts to hold that Obamacare and the individual mandate was unconstitutional, and that was not Kavanaugh's finest moment, and it's a concerning one.
Yeah, look, I hold Randy Barnett, whom I consider a friend in the highest regard. I just disagree with him on that. So there were two issues in the Obamacare case. One is when the court should consider the case, and there is something called the Anti-Injunction Act. And then there was the question about whether or not you could uphold the individual mandate under Congress's taxing power in the Constitution. It is the latter ruling that Chief Justice Roberts used, and he was the only one to rule that way. He had to be coupled with the four liberals who would have upheld Congress's power under the Commerce Clause. But Brett Kavanaugh wasn't talking about the taxing power to uphold the constitutionality of of the individual mandate. He was dealing with the former issue about whether the label attacks meant that the Anti-Injunction Act applied and that the case was premature. And I think that was whether it was a right decision or wrong decision, it was an eminently defensible decision. It's completely different from the reasoning that Chief Justice Roberts used. And in fact, he was in dissent against a majority opinion of the D.C. Circuit that went ahead and said that we should consider the case and that the individual mandate is in fact constitutional. So, he's got to deal with the reality of he was on a court with a majority of liberal judges. And, I think his decision, you can disagree with it, but I do not think it was nearly as cataclysmic as some conservatives did. I knew about that decision at the time that I made my recommendation in 2016, and so it obviously didn't deter me, and I still think he'll be an outstanding Supreme Court justice.
Yeah, and of course there's going to be some political pushback. Senator Schumer slowed his nomination to the D.C. Appeals Court for 3 years. Do you think he's going to try and drag this along too? I mean, he doesn't really have the power to do so, but he's going to try.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the Democrats are throwing as much mud on the wall as they can, hoping that something sticks. You are right. He was nominated originally to the D.C. Circuit in 2003. He wasn't confirmed until 2006, and he attracted a lot of negative attention from Chuck Schumer and others because of his work in the Bush White House and to some extent work he did for independent counsel Ken Starr during the Monica Lewinsky investigation. But he got confirmed then, and he will be confirmed now. It's going to be tough. It's going to be ugly. But I think at the end of the day, he will be confirmed. And as I say, the American people will be better off for it.
There was another concern expressed by some with respect to Kavanaugh. And the American Family Association actually has come out against his nomination, which is rather surprising. But the Priest for Life case, Priest for Life versus HHS, the Obamacare contraception mandate. And the suggestion there was that his dissent was not strong enough in defense of religious liberty. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, so he's caught some flack from the right for the Priest for Life case and also for an abortion decision involving an illegal immigrant teenager who insisted on abortion on demand. In both of those cases, he dissented from majority opinions and ruled with the administration. In the Priest for Life case, all he said was, look, even if the government can make an argument that providing contraceptive services to religious nonprofit employees, even if they can establish that this is a compelling government interest, didn't concede that it was, but even if they can, there are less restrictive alternatives. So he ruled in favor of the administration, just as he did in the illegal immigrant abortion case. The fact that he didn't go with the most pure decision, I think, is again defensible. Judge Kavanaugh is a very strategic judge. He is on a court with the majority of Democrats. If he's not going to persuade his fellow judges on the D.C. Circuit, he then has to present arguments that will appeal to the Supreme Court so that they will take the case and ultimately rule his way. It's a strategy he's employed over the years very successfully, and I don't fault him for doing it in those cases either.
For those concerned that he could turn out to be another Judge Roberts with respect to the Obamacare case or Anthony Kennedy with respect to, frankly, religious liberty and moral issues generally, how do you respond? Is this somebody who's going to be more like Alito or Scalia, or is there the possibility that we could be in the Roberts-Kennedy area?
Well, look, time will tell, but I don't see that as a concern. I mean, Brett Kavanaugh, in speeches, writings, opinions, has made it clear that he is a textualist. He is an originalist. Neither Roberts nor Kennedy could ever be accused of being either of those, and I think he has a stiff backbone. I mean, I think Neil Gorsuch was a home run because he's an originalist and a textualist, and I think that Brett Kavanaugh will be the same.
All right. He is John Malcolm, VP at the Heritage Foundation, the Institute for Constitutional Government, Director of the Meese Center for Legal and Judicial Studies, and a senior legal fellow there who was at the introduction of Brett Kavanaugh to the nation yesterday. John Malcolm, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
You know, I got a great sleep last night, all thanks to MyPillow. And you know who else uses a MyPillow? Take a guess. The 45th president of these United States, President Trump. He met Mike Lindell when he was at his rally in Fargo last month, and the president recognized him and endorsed MyPillow on national TV. What I love about it is you can move the fill to give you the support you need, regardless if you sleep on your back or stomach. I don't wake up with a stiff neck or headache. I feel refreshed. I love that it's made in America, and it's washable and dryable. It's a 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for this BOGO deal, which is buy one, get one free offer, because that's back for the month of July. There's also 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress topper, pet beds that I love. The sheets are fantastic. Find it all at MyPillow.com. And when you check out, put Amy there in that promo code for the buy one, get one free offer and 30% off offer. Also, you could call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Tell them Amy sent you.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. You're welcome, America. And that's not a statement a resident of Illinois gets to make very often with sincerity. But the nation owes a debt of gratitude to two Illinoisans who advance the cause of liberty for millions more Americans through their courage to dissent. Pam Harris and Mark Janis are their names. Pam is the mother of a young man with developmental disabilities who resisted SEIU's attempt to force parents of children with disabilities into its union, literally pitting parents against their children. Pam took her case all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in her favor in 2014. That set the table for Mark Janis, a child support specialist for the state of Illinois who challenged his forced membership in and financing of AFSCME. Mark took his case all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in his favor in June. Without Harris, there would have been no Janis. Without Janis, public sector workers in 22 states would still be second-class citizens with respect to their First Amendment rights. Courage begets courage. As I know them both, I can tell you what they would say about the history they've made. Don't worry about remembering our names. Focus instead on emulating our example. Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Your local 1-hour heating and air conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-HOUR.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Tom Goleb, Chief Financial Officer of Navitas Systems, a leader in the next generation of advanced battery technology and a customer of Signature Bank. A few years ago, I heard Signature Bank on an AM 560 radio ad, just as our previous commercial bank was being acquired. I knew Mick O'Rourke and Kevin Bastuga from a prior enterprise. I valued my relationship with them and the way they worked to earn my trust and my business. So I decided to give Signature Bank a call. They took the time to understand our early-stage technology company that has its own set of challenges. Signature Bank took care of us, and now we are satisfied customers.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Right now, are you sitting in your home afraid to go out in public? Afraid to be seen in a restaurant? Afraid to talk or smile knowing those dentures will fall out at any minute? I'm Dr. Howard Cooper from Excellence in Dentistry, and we can handle all your worries. We have a complete in-house denture lab, and we're here to help you smile and eat with all the confidence again. Every day I see folks like Mary, whose family didn't know where else to turn. Mary's been losing weight and wouldn't eat with her ill-fitting dentures. After talking with Mary, we realized that not only did her denture not fit well, but she hated the way it made her look. We fabricated a new denture that day, and we designed it with Mary's concerns in mind. The smile on her face when we finished conveyed the greatest feeling of all. Mary not only looked beautiful, but she was happy and couldn't wait to get downstairs and hit the restaurant. Mary is happy and her family is happy. That's what we do for our patients. We change their lives. Call us at 847-244-4000 for your free consultation. Don't hide in your house any longer. Enjoy your summer with a new smile and a new outlook on life. Again, call us at 847-244-4000. We are located in Gurnee at Washington and 21 in Saratoga Square. Excellence in dentistry, creating excellence one smile at a time.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. Their background